And we are back live again, or at least I'm back. So Amanda was just here, but she had like just a couple minutes left of listening to Gilded, so she's trying to hurry up and finish that really quick. And I don't know where Drew is. Let me see if he has said anything. Oh, yeah, so Amanda is I'm gonna put her on like but her screen is black and it's gonna stay that way until she finishes Gilded. But there we go. We're gonna put her like that for now. And Drew, I don't know where Drew is. He's AWOL. Let's see. This might be weird. There may end up being an echo kind of thing, but I'm going to click really quick on the actual live show and just so I can get the link and I can share it in the Discord. Okay, that was weird. It's always weird hearing myself repeat. Okay, let me copy that. And where am I for real? Oh, there I am. Amanda says she's almost done. Hello, my dear. Welcome back. Let's see. Go into SeasonAthon here. Join us. Okay. Hopefully we'll have a few people join the chat. And maybe Drew will show up. Okay. So food. So the theme like that we decided to go with for food tonight is Asian food, and I ordered a few things. I ordered some. I could make up my mind. Okay, I knew I wanted pad thai, but then I started seeing sushi, and I was like, "Ooh, I want sushi too." And so I got some pad thai. I got some sushi, and I also got some crab ragoons, which I have already eaten. And then they sent this, which is I don't know if they're cookies. It says Bin Bin rice crackers, but yeah, it's like a little pack of crackers or cookies or something. I don't know if they're any good or not, but they sent them as a thank you. Oh, also, let's see. If you're eating along with us, let me know what y'all have. I got a package. So when I was picking up my food from out front, there's this package that I don't really know what it is. And so I thought I would open it up in the live in case it's something fun. Hopefully it's nothing boring or embarrassing. What do we have? It just says Betty. Like, I don't know. I'm so confused. First thing I see is brush. Oh, okay. Let me put this back. This is a Temu thing. It's gonna go in my Temu haul. A little sneak peek though. It's a chicken shredder. It's weird though because like it just says Betty. Oh, I think this is because so Temu has stuff that's like shipped directly from Temu, and they have stuff that's like shipped from a local warehouse. And I think this is actually one of the things that said shipped from a local warehouse, and that might be why. Because it says Betty and then an address, and it's in California. Okay. I think Amanda finished.
I'm done. Also, let me show you my food there. I'm eating orange chicken and rice. Also, I know you can kind of see this little head. Look at my dog. She's
Oh
sitting
yeah,
on the stairs. I have stairs next to my chair, and she's sitting at the top of
I
the
see both
stairs.
of them.
Yeah, he's coming up just because I'm talking to her and he's jealous, but she wants to sit there so that she can get food. So I have to eat this food because she's horrible. She will climb up here and try to get this food while I'm eating it. So
So
anyway,
I don't know if you saw. I couldn't make up my mind. So I have
I
my pad
saw,
thai, but
yes,
then I
how many
saw
things you have.
sushi, and I got that.
Yeah.
And I was eating crab ragoons before the live started, and like I don't like the pinched up part that is just without the filling. Um, and because I don't know, they just taste too greasy or whatever. Um, I just don't like it. So I break those off, and Einstein and Snicker were right here, and I was feeding them the corners, and Bella's under my desk, and I was feeding her little pieces that I broke off, and you could just hear them.
Oh yeah. She's awful. When we first got her, she we learned that she would jump on things to get onto the table to be able to get the food because she's tiny, like she's this big, but
Oh, Bella does the same thing.
and she will open a pizza box. If the pizza box is closed, she can get her nose under there, open that pizza box, and steal a piece of pizza
Mhm.
before you even know it's gone.
Bella and Einstein used to work together. Bella would get up on the table and knock stuff off, and her and Einstein would eat it. I'm eating cheese puffs and orange soda. So an orange meal. If the theme was orange, you would have it.
Right?
Hello. Your
Hi,
dog is a
Silvana.
cutie, she says. Was she dancing
She
for food?
she dances, she twirls. Okay, look, now he's up here with his head on her back. Like, can you pick me up? He doesn't want the food as much
They're
as
like,
he wants to be up
Mom,
here. He wants to be up
feed
here with me.
us.
And he's mad because she's in the way. Look at him. He's going to come up here. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
they, yep. They're like, please, can we have some food? Please, please, Mama. No worries, Kay. Are you joining us for food tonight while we chat and hang out? I have no idea where Drew is. Drew has disappeared. I'm excited for the sushi. Mm. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
It's so good. I could smell him in there cooking it, and I was busily trying to read the rest of the book. And I was like, oh, I'm ready to eat. I smell it.
Yeah, I went ahead. I placed my order. I did Grubhub, and I placed my order um, pretty early on, and then but I had it scheduled to arrive, so it wouldn't like I didn't want it to arrive at like 6 o'clock, and then I would end up eating it all before the live show, or it would be cold, and so it actually just got here like right before the live.
Awesome. Oh, and you're East
Mm-mm-mm.
Coast. So you're Eastern Tennessee then?
Well, I'm Chattanooga area, so kind of
Oh, I love
middle
Chattanooga.
south. I
My
love
husband's
Chattanooga.
uncle lived, well, for the longest time, he lived in Ringgold, Georgia, just south of
Oh
Chattanooga.
yeah, yeah. It's not far from here at all.
Yeah, so we would stay with them in Ringgold all the time. And now they've moved up to Tennessee, but they're still right there in that same area. I just don't know what the town is that they live in now, but we've been to
I
their
can name
new
off
house once.
um in the Chattanooga area, just north of there. We got Chattanooga, Red Bank, Signal Mountain, Hixson, Lakeside, Soddy Daisy. Any of those sound familiar?
It could be the mountain one.
Signal Mountain.
Yeah.
Is it like up on top of everything and
I don't know.
you
We've
have
been
like big
there We've been there twice, but I don't remember. Oh, Silvana, she's in the U.S. Yeah, Drew is missing in action.
I'm in Tennessee. Yeah, in the U.S. Oh, how was your Thai chicken pizza? Thai chicken.
Silvana is
The
in
noodle.
you with noodles. Remember they were bites, Thai bites with noodles.
Yeah, but wasn't it on pizza though? Like the noodles and everything on pizza?
Oh, I don't think so. Was it? She can tell us about it.
I thought she said yeah, it was on the pizza, but it's like noodles and all that stuff.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You'll have to let us know. Oh, she said it was not on pizza.
It's not on pizza. She's like, stop doing that. Making it sound weirder than it is.
I mean, it's already weird that it's from a pizza place, but I thought it, when she was describing it, that it was actually on a pizza.
Do you still have your scratch off thing out?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, you don't have to do it yet, but before she leaves, Simsalin lives in Chile, and I know you have a couple of spots on there that were in Chile. Oh, yeah. I wanted to see if she had been to those spots on there.
I still have a 400-page book to read by the end of the month for my TBR knockout. Wow. So tomorrow's the last day of the end of the month. However, if you don't finish it, you can carry it over. Or not if you didn't want to. But, I mean, you can carry it over and finish it in July if you need to. It still counts as you completed. I don't even know if I completed mine or not. I don't think I did. Because I think one of the prompts I needed to do was fledgling, and I didn't read that. It was all right. Well, at least it was not bad. I'm from a town in the boonies. There's no actual Thai food places here. Understandable. The place I ordered from, they have like this particular place. They have like Thai and like I got my Thai food, my sushi, the dumplings, and some hibachi chicken. They also had Chinese food there. They had like all kinds of Asian food in one place.
We have one place. It's called Try Thai. And I've been there once. It was nice. It was hot though, like everything is when I eat it.
This particular roll is called it's one of their specialty rolls, and it's called a Hixson roll, which is one of the towns here. I'm working on rereading Harry Potter books. Oh, okay. Welcome back, nice. T. This is so good. This is so good. I'm so glad I'm having this. It was funny. So I ordered from Grubhub, not DoorDash. And while my Grubhub driver is at my door giving me the food, Xander and his friend Braden are waiting to pull into the driveway, having just finished being DoorDashers. I'm like, oh, well. I mean, I didn't order from DoorDash, so it didn't matter. That's I actually funny. Ordered from Grubhub. I checked all the different sites because the fee that they charge is different than like the delivery fee is different. But I think the overall fee might have actually been more with Grubhub because I was like, I was kind of thinking about like, okay, I didn't pay attention to like the subtotal and stuff, but I was like, my subtotal was only $70-something, but in the end I paid $103. So I'm like, wait a minute. Math. I have difficulty eating sushi because I'm allergic to avocado, and a lot has it. Well, yeah, I would say you would want to stay away from the ones with avocado.
My
I like
problem with
avocado.
sushi is that I do not like seaweed. And
There's
I
no
can
seaweed on
find
mine.
there's a lot of them that don't have
No
seaweed,
seaweed
but
on
there's
mine.
so many of them
Mine's
that are
like
wrapped
shrimp
in it.
tempura.
Uh-oh. Am I messed up or is
We were
Melanie frozen?
frozen there for a second.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it was us. I don't know, or it was YouTube or something. Maybe it was me. I don't know. But it's like a shrimp tempura, and then inside we have like the rice and cream cheese, and on the outside is avocado and steamed shrimp. And it's delicious. I don't think there's any seaweed in this one. I could be wrong though. Ooh. Try it. There we go. Angle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I need to do, T, is just ask them to do that.
Okay.
Is one a game? You're playing one? She said her youngest child is sick.
Sorry. I just also pre-ordered the new Fourth Wing book. It's the next in the series on Amazon. Ooh, it's up for pre-order. I
You
will be
mean
doing
number
that.
3, right?
I think it comes out in January, so I'll be pre-ordering that. I got my food delivered through DoorDash, $0 delivery fee. I tipped him very well and was getting angry because he did a delivery between picking up my food and delivering it to me. So he can't help that because sometimes when your order goes through, say there was another order that somebody did and they didn't tip well, but they were kind of like in your path. If you tipped well and this other person didn't tip well, DoorDash can combine them without the driver having any say or not. And if we accept it's saying pick up here and drop off in 2 locations, or pick up here and then drop off here and here. And so they'll combine them to make them more enticing, because otherwise the other people might not ever get their food, because if they didn't put a tip on, even if they were planning on tipping in person, if they didn't put a tip on and DoorDash wasn't paying much to have their thing delivered, nobody's going to want to pick up that order. So they have to combine it with something that people will want to pick up. Yeah,
So
mine
I can
actually.
see. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Mine was held for about 30 minutes because he also had to deliver another order between mine. He had I saw it, watched it where he picked up another order and then went and delivered it and then came up here. I'm 6 minutes from the restaurant. Yikes. But sometimes that happens just because, like, DoorDash combining things, and if they have to wait a long time at the restaurant or whatever. I ended up having an order, I think it was last night, and it was for the same person. Like, they ordered from 2 different places. They ordered food from Burger King and a drink from Taco Bell. I don't get that. I don't understand that. Why you'd pay the extra cost for that, whatever. But I went and I picked up their food, easy peasy, from Burger King. And then I drive to the Taco Bell and I wait in line for like 20 minutes because the inside's closed at this point. And so it's just drive through, and a drive through is crazy long. And so I had to wait 20 minutes with their food just so that I could get their drink.
I've done 2 different orders for me because my child will come in and be like, "Oh, are you dashing? I want from so and so." And I'm like, "We already did from here." But then DoorDash pulls that thing up that says, "Would you like to add on to any of these nearby locations?" And
yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's also crazy, like, some of the locations that they pick, because, like, I had another order that was going to the same person, and they wanted a burrito from Chipotle, and then they wanted like chips and some Pocky from Dollar General. Now, from where I was, like on the way to get their Chipotle, I passed a Dollar General. So I went I mean, you have to go to the specific one, but I passed one Dollar General, went to Chipotle, got their food, was driving, and literally there were other Dollar Generals along the path to this other way. It was not the closest one to Chipotle. I guess it was the closest one to them. But it was like, wow, okay, I'm driving way far away. There's so many other Dollar Generals.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was also the first time I had to go into a store and buy the stuff, which was weird. So it was like a shop and deliver, and I didn't have the physical card yet. I only had I put the digital card on my phone, and so I'm rushing into the store and I found the two things. At first, I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to find these two things, and because I'd never been into that Dollar General.
No.
So I get the stuff, I go up to the register, and I'm like, okay, how do I use this thing to pay? And she's like, you don't have a physical card? And I'm like, no. And so we figured it out together.
So you normally have a card that you can take?
Yeah, I have it right here. It's a red card.
Oh, okay.
So they send, after you've done your first delivery, they send you that, but you also can have a digital, like in your Google Pay or whatever. And it's like prepaid card with the exact amount needed to pay for whatever. And so you go in, you shop for the things and pay for it with the card that they give you. And then you take a picture of their receipt and bring them their stuff. So DoorDash is punishing the people who actually tip. Well, I mean, also, hopefully your food should be in a delivery bag, which is like a thermal delivery bag, and it's going to keep your food warm.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, it's technically, I guess it's not DoorDash making the decisions, it's the drivers who are making the decisions about not to go somewhere if there's not a tip there. But I get it that you don't want to drive somewhere that you're potentially not even going to make enough money to pay for the gas to get you there and back.
Yeah, and the one that picks up your order that also has this other order tied to it, they're not the reason why it got tied together. You know, somebody else declined it. You know, it got declined a bunch of times. And so those people have probably waited a long time for their food.
No.
And it's also not going to be just DoorDash. All the things are going to be like that. All the different apps are. Because they want people to be able to get their stuff. But I've actually, because not realizing, like before I ever started doing DoorDash and all that stuff, or watching people doing DoorDash, I didn't realize that, like, I tipped what I thought was a decent amount, but because of how far out I was from the restaurant, I would have my orders canceled sometimes because people wouldn't take it. And like, I mean, I could literally order something like from that restaurant and say I tipped $10, but nobody wanted to take that order because, you know, it was right at 10 miles, and they're like, I don't want to do that. Even if my order was $50, you know, and $10 is 20%. If nobody would take it and they couldn't batch it with something else that was kind of along the way, then they would just literally cancel the order. I've had that happen, and it sucks, where you wait for like an hour and then they tell you your food's been canceled.
So back to the Fourth Wing thing.
Oh yeah.
I see on Goodreads it still says cover to be revealed, but do they have a cover? If you can pre-order it, do they have a cover?
I don't know if they have a cover or not.
Oh, well, I see on audio, it's called Onyx Storm, and it
Onyx or
says
something like that.
Onyx
You
Storm. No,
froze.
it still says cover to be revealed, even on Amazon. So I don't know. Django, what are you
What did you
doing?
say? Because it like cut out.
Oh, sorry. Onyx Storm is what it's called, and even on Amazon, there's still not a cover. So I don't know.
I think my internet is sucking for some reason. I don't know why. That's no bueno. He needs to quit it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that. Okay, so you finished Gilded.
I did.
Thought?
Okay, well, I still don't know what we can say without spoiling anything. My thoughts are I'm actually more likely now to read the next book than I thought I was when I was 80% of the way through. Because now I kind of need to know what's happening. I also feel like it was unnecessary for her to kill so many people. Absolutely not. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, last time they waited until people got their pre-orders before they saw Iron Flame. That's cool. I mean, I guess we can kind of know that it's going to have a circular something in the middle like the other two, and
it's gonna have
but
stenciled edges.
if it's called Onyx Storm, it might be like smoky looking for like smoke or something from a storm.
And lightning. Like this circle
Oh,
or
you're
something.
not a statement.
Lightning.
I don't know because I didn't read Fourth Wing until Iron Flame was out and people were already like, "Oh, it was fantastic." And I thought, "Okay, I'm going to read this, but I'm sure I'm not going to like it."
So, okay. So I cover bought it. Like I saw those edges and I pre-ordered it. I was just like, oh. Then it came in and I'm like, and then I found out it was going to be in the bookish box. And I was like, I don't need 2 copies of this book. And I know the bookish box is going to have a beautiful book, which it was. And I'm not even a dragon person, you know, that's not the kind of books I read. And then, so I returned my first run copy of Fourth Wing with the pretty stenciled edges with the dragons on them. And then everybody was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best book ever!" And people were going nuts over it. And I'm like, "Well, I have to read it." And so I ended up listening to an audio version on something, and I was like, "Oh, I'm obsessed. This is so good." And then I went when like around Christmas time when the holiday edition one came out, I bought it. And so I was like, I still have 2 copies because I got the holiday edition
You've
and the
purchased
bookish
a
box.
lot. This book a lot, huh?
And then I told Marty, I was like, you know, you got to read this book. I think you're going to like it. And he devoured it. And by that point in time, I had already gotten Iron Flame. And he was like, "Are you ready to read it? Are you going to read it? Have you read it yet? Because I'm going to go ahead and read it." And so he read it. And he is not a big reader. So that was something. And he gave them both 5 stars.
I was in the library the other day, or the first week that I was working there, and this guy brought Iron Flame back and he returned it. And I was like, "Oh, did you I said, "Did you read this?" And he said, "Yes, I did." And I was like, "Oh, great, because usually it's women that bring it in here." He said, "Well, my wife read it and she told me I needed to read it, and I did, and I loved it." And I was like, "Great." Yeah. So it was just so weird
good.
that usually if a guy brings a book back, especially if it's a romance or a fantasy, it's his wife's book. But yeah, you've got the second
when I
one.
brought the that first Fourth Wing back to Barnes and Noble, the lady working behind the register literally screamed because she also wanted a copy, but they were already sold out. And so she's like, I'm snagging this one for myself.
Oh yeah.
Because you couldn't after that, like after that first run, they didn't come with those edges. And so she was like, I want this. I'm like, okay, for it.
Yeah.
I'm really not a fantasy girly. I haven't read enough to know what I like or dislike, so I haven't read it. Oh, I'll read it.
Okay, well,
Because I
here's
mean,
what
I'm
I'm
not.
going to
I'm
say
not a
about
dragon
it, Kay.
person.
Yeah, I have been telling a lot of people, I think it is a very good way to get going with fantasy for a few reasons. Number one, it has every possible trope that everybody loves. Like, I feel like she went through and was like, okay, people like
The
dragons. People
guys.
definitely like dragons that can talk to you. Like, we don't just want a
Oh my
dragon, we
gosh,
want them
yes,
to be snarky as well. Also, people
yes.
love, yeah, people love like an underdog story. People love like trying to find out who you really are when you thought you were supposed to go one path, but you're supposed to go another path. And I mean, there are so many things that are in this that I think it appeals to a very wide variety of people, which is why it became so popular. And then also, it has one point of view for most everything in here, and it's not confusing. It doesn't give you a million characters all at one time to try to figure out. There are a lot of people because she is in a school type setting, but you're given those people in short groups, like short little bursts
Mhm.
of who they are. And I think
You get
that
to
is
know
very
them
easy to
well.
digest. Yes. So it doesn't feel as overwhelming as when you're starting like a Wheel of Time book or if you're starting a
Oh, geez.
Brandon Sanderson book, like one of those. Also, the magic system is not difficult to understand. Like we get
Mhm.
how it happens and that's
Everything
it.
works. Yeah.
And yeah, there's just not, it's not confusing, it's not overwhelming. It's a straightforward, easy to read words, and everything about it is easy. And that's why I think so many people like it.
Also, the first steamy scene in that book. Oh my lord! I was dying because I was laughing because it
It's
was
also
so freaking funny.
75% of the way through the book before things happen.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
it's like
what?
it's a hilarious. Chill out. It's a hilarious kind of steamy scene. Like they're getting steamy, but then they're like also tearing the place apart, and they're like joking around and stuff. And it was so freaking funny, and it was great. I loved it. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. In book two, the steamy scenes weren't as comical as in the first book, but
And
still
they
fantastic.
started right from the beginning. It's like, okay, we're not burning this anymore. It is no longer slow.
Marty, I don't know where he went. I still haven't read group book. Finish it tomorrow. Hope I like Gilded. I still have to finish the Heartless Hunter for the map prompt. I
Mm,
hope you like Gilded too. It's so good.
I just finished it today.
So, what are you rating it?
I'm probably gonna give it a 4. That is my
Woo!
standard. That is my standard rating. Like if I super don't like your book, it gets maybe a 2, but I never go below a 2 because I will just DNF it. If I don't like it that much, then I'm DNFing the book.
So, okay, the way my ratings go is one is like if I don't like it and I to the point that I DNF it, then it's getting a 1. Now, if I DNF it because it's not my kind of thing or something like that, then if it's just not for me, I'm not going to rate it. But if it's like, okay, this is repulsive and I really, or the writing is horrendous and I can't do it, then it's going to get a 1. A 2 is I've read the whole thing and I don't like it. If I manage to read the whole thing but I just really don't like this book, it's going to get a 2. A 3 is it was fine. It's not
Yeah.
something I'll ever read again, likely. It was fine. It was okay. Uh, a 3.5 was, yeah, I liked it. I probably won't read it again, but I did like it. A 3.75, this is when I start getting a little pickier. A 3.75 is I really like this book. I loved it. I'm a fan. I would recommend it to people. but I'm probably never going to read it again unless it's part of a series. It was a great time. I loved it, but I'm not going to read it again. Then a 4 is, yes, I love this book. It is great. I mean, maybe not perfect for me, but it was great, and I'll definitely read it again in the future. It stays on my shelves in my guest room. And then 5 is this book is perfection. I love it.
I do very rarely do 5s and I very rarely do 3s. I'm almost always a 4, which just means I really like it. I'm not a rereader. Like, there has to be a prompt literally that says reread a book or I'm not rereading a book. So there's almost no books that I'm like, oh, I'm going to read that again. It just does not happen for me. And even if there is a sequel and I need to remember what happened the one before, I'll go find a YouTube video that recaps it for me before I will reread the book again. So I just don't know that I have come across a book where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this in my life so I can keep rereading it. It's not a thing. Will you please put this over there?
Some books I'll do that. Like, for example, Marty and I we were going to continue with An Ember in the Ashes series. And the last book that we read, I read the recap of that because I was like, I feel like I remember, but I want to make sure I refresh my memory enough. Now Thunderhead was a reread, which we're about to finish tomorrow. And I remembered only little bits and pieces of it, but not really enough. And so, and I know I loved that book. Like, I loved the whole series. And so we've been listening to it over again. And Cassandra Clare books, some of those I've read like, I can't even tell you how many times.
Okay, there you go.
I've read Fourth Wing twice already. And I'll probably read it a third time.
Oh, you've read it twice. Okay.
Yeah, I've read it twice already, and I will likely read it a third time when the next one comes out. I'll read all of them over again. I got the Christmas edition of Fourth Wing because of Mel. Mel, that should have been your sign to keep it just in case. I know, right? I heard 2 extra scenes from the point of view of Xaden. Yeah.
Yeah, because I said it was all first person. I mean, not first person, but from one point of view. So there are a couple of things. Yeah.
I think because I'm not a huge fan of series, I prefer standalones. That's why fantasy doesn't appeal to me very much. I mean, you don't have to buy the book, but I would definitely recommend checking it out from your library or find an audio version or something because it's so good. And then you'll know what all the hype's about.
And I mean, especially if you want to do, look at that. He's her book crush. That's so funny.
I read The Shadows for the group books. So good.
Oh, you thought it was so good? Let Melanie tell you what she thought about it.
I thought it was boring and I gave it 2.5 stars. Now I just explained my ratings. Okay, so 2.5 stars means I did not like this book. It wasn't I hated it, but I didn't like it. It was boring. Melanie, I love Storm and Fury series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. All 3 books, I gave them 5 stars. Yes, I read Storm and Fury like right after it came out, and I was just obsessed and gave it 5 stars. And then I think I started to read the second one when it came out, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to read all of her books ever. So I've been, she's written so many books.
Right. Hold on. So I've read From Blood and Ash, the first book, and A Shadow in the Ember, the first book. That's it. I've read the first book of 2 different series from her.
I also read From Blood and Ash, and I think I read the second book in that too. And that was the point that I was like, you know what? I'm going to read all of her books because they're all so good. Let's see. Hold on.
I did not like.
How many books did Jennifer L. Armentrout write? She's still writing them too.
Armentrout is the author of more than 60 books.
She's the author of more than 60 books.
The fact that An Ember in the Ashes is 647 pages, that is ridiculous. Like,
Let's see. Kay says 1, I did not like it. 2, I did not like it, but I didn't like it either.
It was
It was just okay. 3, I liked it. 4, I really liked it. 5, I loved it. There's just a specific vibe that I get for a 5. Yeah, usually for a 5, the book has to make me cry.
Oh,
Like,
no. If the book makes me cry, I'm taking a point off. Don't do that to me.
It has, or not necessarily cry, but like if a book manages to successfully make me cry, that's typically a 5-star read. It doesn't have to make me cry, but it's like I have to feel like strong emotions, whether it's excitement or whatever, something strong emotions for it to get a 5. I rarely rate books 5. I normally rate books 3 or 4. That's me. I do, most of my books fall in the 3 or 4 range.
Yeah, mine do too.
Typically. I don't rate DNFs. I just stick them in my DNF shelf on Goodreads so that I don't forget and attempt to read them again.
Yeah. That's really funny. I don't rate DNFs either, but I never thought about having a DNF shelf on Goodreads. That's probably smart.
It's very smart because I have many times picked up a book and then I was like, wait, and then started reading it and then like, oh yeah, I quit this for a reason. 1, horrible, didn't like it. 2, meh. 3, good, above average. 4, I liked it very much, would recommend. 5, perfection, and want to reread.
Yeah.
What did you rate The Shadows, Amanda?
4. I could be convinced to go 3.5 after we talked about the actual boring parts, because I do agree that it was really slow and the reveals were not great and the wrap up on some of the things was not wonderful for me. But I can't really say all the things I didn't like without doing spoilers. So,
I don't know if it's me or.
Are you there?
I think it was. I don't know. I don't know if it was me or what. Okay, I just started reading, so I think I like all new things. I loved Fourth Wing, but didn't give it 5 stars, though. That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't either.
What if you're just feeling overly emotional that day and that's why you cried? Well, I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, but typically I know if it's like the book or not, if it's the book that set me off or if it's my own mental anguish. We're fine, Mel. Not sure what you're seeing. Oh, it keeps like doing the buffering thing or whatever. Also, so I was sitting like this for the other live where you couldn't see the full shirt because I was thinking our author was going to be popping in, but I have to show y'all my shirt.
Nice. With the butterfly.
Yeah, there we go. I thought it was funny. I got this from Spencer's.
Nice.
I think it's the only tie-dye shirt I actually have. Oh me. Yeah, I gave Gilded 5 stars. I gave Wish You Weren't Here 4.5 stars, and then I gave The Shadows 2.5 stars. How many bookcases do you all have? I have 4, going to get 4 more. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so I have little to no wall space.
I have that right there. I got rid of everything. I have that. That's it.
You mean in this room? In this room, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 floor to ceiling bookshelves. Xander has 2 built-in bookshelves, like floor to ceiling in his room. My guest room has 2 floor to ceiling bookshelves in the room, but then we made the closet where it's the entire closet is a bookshelf and it's a big closet. I think I have 5 or 6 in my dining room. That's where I do most of my filming, like my wheel and stuff. That's in front of those shelves. And then I have 2 half shelves that are built in my living room, plus my these books will self-destruct little tree bookshelf. And in my bedroom, I have 2 floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. But I also have books stacked everywhere too. Like it's a problem, okay? I have an entire closet. Like I have this huge closet under my stairs of books to unhaul. Like I've already filmed unhauls and I just need to these are books I'm going to give away or put in my little free library, and then I have a whole wagon for that as well.
Yeah, when I moved to, so we move all the time, every couple of years. And the last time we moved, I was like, I'm done with this because I read almost everything I read on audio anyway. And so it was literally a waste of money to buy a book, never crack the pages of it and be like, well, I read this book and I already told you I'm not a rereader. So I'm not going to pick it up later and read it again. And so I was like, I just can't. So I do have a small bookshelf over there that's got all my book of the month books that I am keeping until I read them, and then I'm donating them to the library. And then this behind me is almost completely graphic novels and manga at this point because I'm trying to those I do like to physically read, but everything else is on audio. And so I'm like, why do I need this if I'm going to listen to it anyway? So I have been getting rid of all of my physical books.
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a few books that don't have audios to them, so I would have to physically read them. But
when I just ordered a couple of indie books that don't have audio versions of them, and those are the ones that I've kept over here are books that I've ordered either directly from an author or somebody that I know they're indie published and they're not going to do the audio version. Then I have those, but that's literally it. But I am starting I'm starting the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. Her video came out.
I just watched that too. I was like, oh, that's at first I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then the further she got, I was just like, maybe halfway through the video, I was like,
Oh, I'm totally doing it. And the spreadsheet, I've already been playing with the spreadsheet. So I was looking at the spreadsheet today, and then somebody came on the Discord and was like, oh, I added a percentage bar. And I was like, oh, that's a genius idea. So then I went in and added the percentage bar. I cannot wait to get going on it and get to mark things off. I just filmed the video of my intro video for it. So anyway, part of that is indie authors. So I'm going to be reading more of those this year coming up. So
yeah, I was just like, oh, man. Like when she started talking about like, you got to do like 5 books from this and 5 books from that.
Oh, with my full name, it's 145 books.
Yeah, I was just like, I can't do. No.
So your name makes it determine how far, but yes, it's not a month challenge. It is the whole year. I'll grab the link.
I don't think I got as far as the name part.
But y'all can't go. You can't go look at it till we're finished.
What's the name thing? Because I didn't get that far in the video.
You have to read a book for every letter of your name. For your first, middle, and last.
Okay, how many letters is? Gosh, my name's long. Melanie Christina Benson. 21. It was 21, I think.
Yeah.
That's a lot. My name's long.
Yeah, she said, I'm apologizing right now to any who did she say? What Eastern European names where there's
right.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. Okay, come on.
It would be a dream to have that many like Mel. I have the Billy bookcases. Mine are also the Billy bookcases. I've reverted to putting books on a want to buy shelf on Goodreads. Then most of whatever I do read, I borrow from the library, physical or through an app. Then if I give it 4 or 5 stars, I'll buy it. That's a really good idea. And I've definitely decided I need to Like I have cut way back in how many books I'm acquiring, like a lot, but I think I still should do something like that because I just recently ordered a bunch of stuff from Book Outlet, like a bunch. And I mean, it was only 20, 30 something books, but one of those books, for example, and I just filmed a haul of it. But one of those books, for example, is The Shadows by Alex North. And anything that I don't rate 4 or like anything lower than a 4, I unhaul.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally just got it. It hasn't gone on my shelf. It's in a stack over here, and it's already going to be unhauled because I don't need it. I won't read it again. And that's a very good idea. What reading challenge? It's called the hardest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a year like the rest of the year. I cannot do audio.
It's for one. Her birthday is July the 8th,
7th.
July 7th. So she's going from July 7th this year to July 6th next year. But I posted in the Discord and I was like, listen, I'm going from July 1st to June 30th because my brain is not having this starting 7 days into the month. Like, no. I was like, what? No, I'm not doing that. Anyway.
I cannot do audiobooks for some reason, but I read on my iPad and physical books. What
challenge is that? That's it.
I have 2 middle names. That's not fair.
Well, I decided to do my first middle maiden name and my last name. It's still only 28 letters, even with all 4 names. So
mine would, if I did that, mine would be 26. Because I actually only gained 1 letter when I got married.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yes, it's a year from July 7th to July 6th.
It's like I didn't even get through all of the challenges, like all the things, and I was just like, no, this is.
Well, it says it's the hardest.
Yeah, and she is not wrong. It's hard, and like just the little bit I watched, I was like, okay, that's too hard for me.
She just took a bunch of challenges that you would normally do, like an A to Z challenge and a rainbow challenge, and she picked 25 challenges and made a bingo board of those 25 challenges.
And you got to get a blackout.
And to win, you got to black out. We're not just trying to get
to get 1 square, it's not necessarily 1 book.
Right. Some of them are. The very first square is just read a 500-page book in a 24-hour period in 1 day.
Yeah. But also there's like one where you're like, read a book and then pick you look at the blurbs on the back of the book, and then of the blurbs on the back, you have to pick 3 of them and then read books by those people that have blurbed on that book.
Right. Like so that's 4 books, and then you get to mark off the square. But then, like if you're doing A to Z, you've got to read A to Z, and then you get to mark off the square. So that's 26 books before you can mark anything off.
Oh no, I have 3 names. My name is 9 letters. And if I add my middle name,
14. Well, there you go. She did say first, middle, and last. That's the link to her video if y'all want to go watch it. Just don't do it yet.
Only 20 or 30 books. LML, you're hilarious. Oh, I already have all the books I'm going to read except for the rest of the year.
Oh, wow. I cannot imagine that. I'd be like changing my mind all the time.
I have this for my videos. I have all my videos planned, like when I'm going to film them, when I'm going to edit them, when they're going to post for the rest of the year, and then plenty to roll over into next year.
How often do you post? Do you do videos?
Well, I was posting every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, or Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, I think is what I was posting. But I switched because I was doing all the travel and stuff. I switched it to being every Tuesday and Friday, or Monday and Friday. So only twice a week now, but it was 3 times a week.
Okay.
But yeah, I can tell you any given date, like what I'm doing on that day. Hold on. This is always kind of a fun thing to show. Got everything piled on top of my planner right now.
Okay, it probably won't let me share the link because it's not my stream, but there it is. Her channel name is QWERTY, so wordy with a Q. She's an author, and then it's called The Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do.
So, for example, here's next week. I have to add something to it because I'm going to film a Temu haul. But Monday, I'm going to be posting my Wheel of TBR. I'm going to be filming Temu haul, my wrap-up vlog, and 2 Have I Read It's. Tuesday, I'll be editing my wrap-up vlog. Wednesday, I'll be editing one of the Have I Read It's. And then I'm not doing anything there because I've got family coming. And then Friday, my wrap-up vlog will post. But if you look at the next week, all the blues are edits. The yellow, gold, those are posts, and the pinks and purples are filming.
For one channel, or do you have multiple channels?
For one channel.
Oh, okay.
Just for Completely Melanie. So, like, let's pick a random day. Let's see.
And you already know what the video is going to be?
Yep.
Oh
so,
I try to plan a month in advance, and then I still change my mind.
Well, so these are done on these little Post-it notes. So if I need to, I can take them off and move them around.
Yeah, I do the same thing, but then I would end up, I move mine all over the place. They mess everything up.
So I can tell you on September 16th, I'll be posting a mail time video. And that day I'll be editing a coffee vlog. The next day I'll be editing my Greek cruise part 1. The day after that, my coffee vlog will post for them, and I'll be editing my Greek cruise part 2. And then that Friday, Have I Read It will post. And then
okay, that makes sense though. You do because you do the same things. Like Have I Read It, and like you kind of do the same ones.
And then at the end of the year, so all the things that didn't have a place have gotten stuck here to get rolled over into the next year. So these yellow and oranges, those are ones that have already been filmed. And like the purple or pink, I have to film that one. The blues are ones that are editing, and all the rest will be videos that are already done, ready to be posted into the next year. I just have to move those stickers over.
What are they about if you've already filmed them?
Well, no, like by that point in time, they'll have already been filmed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because you'll see over in the earlier part of the year, like for example, let's go. For example, here I was reviewing my 2024 goals, but oh yeah, that post on the 3rd, which I actually have that far. But like these Have I Read It, they would be posting. I have them here as one to edit. One of them already would have gotten edited, and so they're ready to go into January.
I see.
But yeah, I plan it all out so that I make sure I have things posting at the right times they need to be posted at. Because I have to make sure my Have I Read It's post early in the month so that people have time to vote before I film my wheel and all that stuff. And Drew finally made it. You're late. You're late, man. Let's see. Mine would be 32 letters. Woo, long name. How many squares are there? There are 25 squares.
Yep.
The link doesn't show up for me.
I know. Yes, it is called the
She thinks we're amazing.
Challenge. Oh, thanks.
I'm working on reading all the oldest books from the date they were added to my Goodreads. I'm working on reading books added in 2017. Ooh. I don't know when I started actually adding things to my Goodreads. I know my Goodreads is so not up to date. I haven't added anything that I've hauled since moving in this house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's
I
way
just
back.
cleared out my want to read, completely cleared it out. And because I've been using Storygraph for the last like 3 years, so I cleared out my Goodreads want to read, and I'm going to be through the month of July moving Storygraph want to read to Goodreads want to read, because the Goodreads is so much easier to filter as far as like ratings and things like that. So it's all going to all be messed up, but it'll eventually figure it out.
Yeah, it's the hardest reading
It
challenge.
is. It is actually.
Mel did have Subscription Obsession, but then she renamed it to Completely Mel. Yes, my original channel name. If you watch some of my beginning videos, it says Subscription Obsession, and then
Because you were obsessed with book subscriptions?
yeah, well, it was all kinds of subscription
Oh,
boxes. It was just
oh.
like a subscription box unboxing thing, and then
Oh.
I discovered BookTube. And so then I had a couple of book hauls because I was getting so many books. And then I was like, oh, people want to see that? Okay. And then I think I only had my channel for maybe 5 months, something like that. And then I changed the name. Kay says late by a lot.
Did you
I
finish
show
the
up,
book,
though.
Drew?
No. And that's after the reading time.
So, where did you did you get any more reading done or no?
Not for Gilded, but for Wish You Weren't Here, I got to the color war scene, and then I got to the musical chairs that they did.
Mm-hmm. It's just musical chairs.
I know. And then I fell asleep. And then
there it is. I thought you looked like you just woke up.
Yeah. Lately, whenever I wake up though from my beanbag, which you guys will probably see it now, my eyes get so red for some reason. So I'm like nervous that it's either my beanbag or just allergies that I'm getting. But yeah.
Huh.
Cases, she remembers me opening subscription boxes with my daughter.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
we did over, I think it was a year. I got BoxyCharm and Glossy Box or something like that. And every month when the boxes came in, we would open both boxes and compare them and see which box won. And after the year, she didn't need any more stuff, and she was oh, okay, there we go. She didn't need any more stuff, and she really wasn't interested in making videos, so she stopped doing them. And I, after doing it for a year, determined BoxyCharm was definitely the winner. And so I actually continued getting BoxyCharm for a long time because it's an awesome box. Though I can't say how it is now because it has changed quite a bit since I stopped getting it. I think it got combined with Ipsy, and I think it changed quite a lot at that point in time. But I have so much of makeup that I will never be able to use it all.
Yep, my daughter used to do the Ipsy as well.
Drew, you in trouble?
You're not in trouble. You clearly needed to sleep, and it's fine.
Drew needs his nap time.
I was up till 2 a.m. last night, so
I needed a nap time too.
I in between. I did a little bit of time working on building that stupid bed. There are 31 steps in building this bed, and we've gotten through step 10.
Wow.
It's absurd. It's a Murphy bed.
Oh.
And so like you're building the whole cabinet and it's for a queen size bed. It's a lot. And so yeah, I'm gonna try hopefully to finish that thing tomorrow. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it was me with the boys trying to do it.
oh wow.
She also had a nap.
Yeah.
We get it, Drew. Laugh out loud. I was joking.
Oh, I know you all are. I think being late is my thing now for you, Mel.
Yes.
So
Drew,
cheers.
I think Drew ended up missing like the entire author chat the last time he was a host
Wow.
with the author here. The author was actually here and Drew wasn't. And then he was like, "It's okay. I'll be there for the after hours." And then it was like way into the show before Drew showed up, and we're like, "Where were you?" I think you were sleeping then too.
Mm-hmm.
I
We
think you
can't
were like,
let him have a break in the afternoon because apparently he just goes to sleep.
"It's okay." Drew needs his naps. He needs to not push it too much.
And Mel have seen me when I was down, which is why Mel bought food for me the day we hung out together.
At least you're consistent. We know what to expect.
I don't know if that's good or bad to be consistent of being late.
Well, consistent and needing a nap.
Yeah, I try not to because either I'll have stuff happening throughout the day or I'm behind on videos and whatnot. But today I could barely hold it together at work. I kept falling asleep. I was like, oh no, this is terrible.
Did you have food?
No, but I heard my mom went to Trader Joe's today, so I might go see what she bought and see what I can make.
Right?
I don't know what she will get, but we shall see.
I already ate all mine. It was really good.
I should have stopped eating, but I still have food, so I ordered too much. I've already had the crab wontons and the sushi.
Oh, yummy.
It was very good. And now I'm eating my pad thai. And it's so much. I can't, it's hard to pick it up because it's so much packed into this little bowl.
Oh, yeah.
my gosh.
It's a heavy
It
bowl.
looks like you haven't eaten any of it either.
Well, I mean, I really haven't.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to stir it up and it's just, I can't.
Yeah.
Because I'm just spreading out the top. My sleep schedule was all over the place for about a week because of family stuff.
Oh. Mine was all over the place because of that readathon that I joined and didn't do anything but read for the last 3 weeks.
Which one was it again?
It's called Wonderthon. We're 4 different cities in Italy and we're attacking each other and it is nonsense. Like,
that's funny.
I did. Yeah.
I was doing Litwits.
Okay. Well, did you see July's prompts for Litwits then?
Uh-huh.
Are you doing it again in July?
Probably. I've already requested for Miss Scarlett.
I said I didn't care. They could put me wherever.
And Corey was like, put me wherever Mel is.
Oh, nice. Well, I did do the prompts. Like I tried to figure out what I was going to read for each prompt. We were all discussing our bookshelves, Drew, and you missed it. So you have to tell us how many you have.
Like shelves in total or?
Like a whole shelf counts as one. Like a case counts as one.
1, 2.
I asked her in this room.
I said the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 that's in my room right now. And then in my closet, any of the floating shelves that I have up there, all my books are there. I wonder if you guys can see them. Let's see. Oh.
He's like, hold on.
I don't know if you can see it, but
oh, I can see something on top of the clothes up there.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
2 books sitting up there.
But yeah, I would turn my light on, but I found out my closet light went out the other day. So lovely.
Oh.
It's funny though when you're like when you were asked, how many bookshelves, you're doing the same thing that I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and Amanda, tell Drew how many shelves you have.
Oh, that's it right there.
Mhm.
We have in our living room, we have 2 shelves that are mostly my husband's books and kind of like
Mm.
family books. If I think anybody might want to read them, I go put them out there. But otherwise, that's it. I tried to get rid of all my physical books. I've gotten rid of over 200 books just this year to just
Mm.
get my physical books out of here because I was reading them. I was not reading the copies that I have. I was actually
Mhm.
going and finding the audio version of the exact same book. And I was like, why am I keeping these books and we move a lot and they take up a lot. They're heavy and we get a
Yeah.
certain amount of pounds that the moving people will move us. And if we go over our weight, we have to pay money. So
Oh
I was
no.
like, let me just take off some books. Although I am going to start buying some, I'm going to be very selective about what I buy going forward because when I was trying to I thought I needed to build a library and I would go on Etsy and buy those boxes of random sci-fi books or boxes of fantasy books. And there was old crap in there, or it was the third book in a series. And I was like, none of these things make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it has been every 2 years, except for 2 times. Once we lived somewhere for 4 years, and once we lived somewhere for 3 years. Everywhere else has been 2.
So is he Army or
He's Air Force.
Air Force? How long has he been in?
16 years.
Wow. So is he stopping at 20?
Not unless they make him. No, we'll see.
What does he do with the Air Force?
He is a chaplain.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I should know that, but I'm
It
probably
just means that they're like a pastor.
Yeah. Like
oh
a
yeah.
pastor,
But
preacher.
they have to,
church man.
specifically in the military, they have to provide for the religions of everybody. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what religion the chaplain is. If somebody shows up and they're like, hey, I'm this religion, I need you to find me somebody here that does that,
Mhm.
then they do that. So
Mhm.
I'm wondering if he's ever had somebody come up to him and say, what is it? Hold on. I have to look it up.
okay. I'm going to guess the answer is yes. Because there's a lot.
Pastafarian.
Oh, yeah. So there is a lot of stuff happening recently because people are wanting to get around the growing the facial hair situation because you can't do that unless you have a medical or religious waiver. So there are some people who are
Oh, the Pastafarian thing's been around for a long time
yeah,
now. And it's stupid.
Pastafarian. It's like
The flying
Rastafarian,
spaghetti
but with
monster.
pasta.
They worship the flying spaghetti monster or something like that. It's absurd. But it has been around for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that he's not actually had anybody serious about that. So
Above your bookcase is Drew. What certificates are those?
So the ones that you guys can see, well, actually, I don't know. Can you? These two at the far end, they're from my swim team years. So I got this is really funny because all the captains of our swim team got to make up their awards that year before they left. And it was just fun, silly awards that you could get. And mine was the Don't Stop Believing award because I would play it so much at not tournaments, wow, at swim meets just to get me motivated to go in the pool. And then the other one's a varsity athletic award for swim. And then the rest of them are karate certificates from getting my belts. So whenever you get your belts, you always have a certificate with them. So
She's talking about the moving every 2 years. That must be tiring.
it is tiring, especially we lived in Alabama for 1 year and we knew when we moved there that we were moving again the next year, and just trying to be an active participant in the world around you for the year, knowing that you're about to leave is very hard. So.
I mean, I honestly, like, it takes me years to unpack.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so
no. We can get unpacked in 2.5 days, like the
I
end.
you see, the thing is, I would be like, just not unpacking.
Well, my husband cannot function, like, he can't sit down, he can't relax until we're unpacked. So, there is no stopping. Well, what we did in Alabama, though, is we decided that we were only gonna decorate, like, put out our decorations, with just a few things. So, we did save some boxes to the side that had a bunch of pictures in there that we decided not to put on the walls. We were very specific about what we thought we really wanted to look at and have on the walls, and the rest of it we just left packed for that year. So yes, we did kind of do the same thing, but normally we move somewhere and we are unpacked in just a few days because he cannot relax. I could live with a box sitting beside me as a nightstand. Like, I don't need anything, but
Anytime we move, which has been far too often for Marty's liking. Anytime we move, especially because I have so many books, he threatens to, if we move one more time, I swear I'm going to divorce you.
Oh,
And I'm like, no, you won't. And he's like, you're right. Yes, I said Pastafarian.
that's right.
They worship the flying spaghetti monster. It's a thing. Look it up on YouTube. It's ridiculous.
oh,
Um, so, SO of
A
my
significant other.
a significant other of, I'm guessing that's supposed to be Army/Air Force.
Warfare.
Has had a really hard time of having their own career, unless you have a super transferable skill.
It
Yes.
is. Yeah, it's one of the biggest issues that you find a lot of nurses and teachers because those are easily transferable. In fact, there are a lot of licensing places like nursing, and even a law degree only transfers to certain locations, but there was a law passed in the government that nursing certificates specifically, as long as you were a military spouse, could be transferred without you having to go through and get a new certificate at every state that you lived in, just
That's
because
great.
why would you have to do that? That's ridiculous. So, yes, it helps that, like, I am a freelance video editor, so I can do that at my house no matter where we live. So, but yes, that is the number one complaint that a lot of military spouses have. But most, you don't have to move that often. Like, you can be somewhere 6 or 8 years. It just depends on what kind of career path you're on and what you're doing. So,
So Marty was in the Navy for 10, 11 years, 10 or somewhere in there, 10 or 11 years. And when he joined, he left for boot camp when Becca was 9 days old. Yeah, that was fun. And then so he did his 3 months there, and then we went to Goose Creek, South Carolina for his A school, and we were only there for 6 months. And then we moved to upstate New York for his power school and prototype, because he was a nuclear ET, electronics technician. And so they've got their nuclear pipeline, like a legit nuclear plant, upstate New York for the Navy. Which that was a whole thing being there during 9/11. That was fun. It was not fun. But we were there for a year, and then he got stationed in San Diego, and we were there for 3 years, I think. And then he had only gone on one deployment. It was like one full deployment. It was like 9 months. And then when he came back, and they did their whole whatever, and it was almost time for the next deployment. Literally the day, like a couple of days before the ship left, he got his orders. Like 2 days before the ship left to go on deployment again, he got his orders to go to a new place. And I was like, Yay. And we went back. We actually went back to New York because they wanted him to go back as a teacher. So we were there for a couple of years, and then he got out on a medical discharge, and then we moved back home with his parents for a little while. While we were trying to figure out, okay, where do we go next? Then we ended up in Maryland, and the civilian world pays so much better.
Yep.
That's why it was like, yeah, it worked out well for us because he could still do his job. But yeah, for me the movie was like, I didn't mind it, but doing any kind of career thing, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I had started before we ever got married. I had done school, like some college, and I had wanted to go back to school, but that was a whole other thing because that was like very early 2000. So there was only so many options that you could have when you're bouncing around.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up I bounced around schools. I went to the only thing available really online at that time that would work for anything I was interested in was Kaplan University. Big online thing.
Yeah, I remember it, but I mean, it would have been the very beginning of online school stuff.
Yeah, so I did Kaplan for a little while, and I was actually going to school to be an accountant because I'm really good with numbers and math and that kind of thing. And but that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, but that was not something that you could do online at all. But then a school came along called Western Governors University, and they'd work with the states, and you could actually do online school to be a teacher. And when you had to do anything in the classroom, they would actually work with the state that you were in at that point to put you in a school there. And it worked out. It was going to work out great. At this time, Becca had not started school, and I was in my second year of Western Governors University while I was pregnant with Xander, and Becca was starting school that year. And that's when she started bringing other little kids over to our house. And then I realized I didn't like other people's children. And, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be a teacher. And so I quit. Because I was just like, what the kids she was bringing over were awful. Now I've discovered that, other people's kids are fine to an extent. But
some of them,
but the ones you were bringing to our house were not. They were monsters, and they made me quit. They made me go, nope, I was wrong about everything.
Yeah. Well, I have a degree in English that I have never used for anything. I have never been paid to have the degree. I will say that.
I will say I have I probably could have had have enough credits all around to have a degree because I've done so much, so much, but I never got a degree. Because that was pretty much the point that I just stopped because I was like, I don't really want to do the accounting thing, and I don't want to do the teacher thing, and I'm mom for now. And so yeah. And then I think my next big job, other than little small part-time jobs, was working at Nissan when we first moved to Tennessee. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting a grown-up job. And I went and I got my grown-up job, and I was loving my grown-up job, and I was doing good at it. And then Becca was like, I hate it here, and I want to be homeschooled. And I'm like, and so I quit my job to homeschool. And I ended up being a teacher anyway.
Yeah, but you didn't have to teach other people's kids. That's what I did. I taught other people's kids for 2 years, and then I came home and taught my own kids for almost, I don't know how long it's been, but this coming year is my baby's senior year, and I'll be done.
Yeah, Xander just finished. This was his. He's done. He's in the summer that is after his senior year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why I got the DoorDash thing now, because I'm like, I can do something else. I can leave the house. Yay!
I'm excited, but I'm sadder about it than I thought I would be. I'm like, he said, "Don't worry, I'm not moving out. You're fine."
That's Xander. We were like this bed here. We were having a conversation about like picking the bed and everything, and because when we first moved in here, he had this massive bed, and he wanted to bring it, and we put it up in the room, and he was like, it filled up his room. There was no room for him to get around, and he was like, no, I don't want to have that. And then he had a smaller bed, and we ended up with this extra couch, and he's like, you know what, I'll just have the couch. And so he's been sleeping on a couch in his room, and now he's like, okay, my shoulder always hurts because I'm always having to lay on my side because I can't be like this way. And he's like, I really want a bed. So we still had the queen size mattress in a bonus room, like off of our bedrooms, kind of like a big closet thing. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's find a bed. And I wanted one that could be like tucked away. And I told him, I was like, this is not your bed, okay? Because he had this amazing, the bed he had before when we moved here was our old bed. And he really wanted it. It was this big 4-poster, like awesome bed that he ended up like putting nails in and stickers all over and just destroying it. Like there was nothing we could do it, like literally throw it away. Which sucked because it was a very expensive bed. And so I was like, this is not your bed. This is my bed that you get to use. And we were talking about the color, and I was like, I think a white one. And he was like, come on. He's like, it's not like I'm moving out anytime soon. He's like, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay bills. I'm not stupid. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, okay, fine. So it's gray instead of white. But it's okay. It matches the shelves in his room. Amanda, she said, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank your husband for his service. T is an accountant. Yeah, I know. T like, she disappears at tax time.
Nice.
We're like, we'll see you in a month.
Yeah.
Is Canadian tax time the same as our tax time?
I think so, because she's like, it's always like right around that time that she's super busy. Drew, did you go to school for anything, like college type school?
Yes and no. It's always hard to explain. I went to college for like 2 full semesters, and then after my second semester, I had well, Mel knows this because literally Mel follows me everywhere. But I had open heart surgery.
Book too, Mom.
Yeah. I had open heart surgery 2022, I think. So my open heart surgery kind of stopped everything, really. And I obviously had to take a couple months to recover from that big surgery. And so I didn't even do karate. I didn't do anything. I just sat with my family a lot of times and all that. But I'm hoping to go back soon. But right now, college is also super expensive. So I don't know if I will go back to college. But I do want to go back and try and become a teacher. But I know teaching right now for just school-wise is tough. Because even I can barely teach my kids that I work with at the rec center. So yeah.
This is why I said he needs his nap time.
Yes.
He's got to take care of himself and not overwork himself. So that's why he needs his nap time.
Yep.
I don't give him too hard of a time. We have up to April 30th. I always like to do 7 to 8 weeks of working 7 days a week. Yeah, she does. She's like, she just disappears. Every once in a while, we're like, hey, I'll write her like on Discord. I'll be like, hey, you still alive out there? And she's like, yes. And then I'll hear from her a month later.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, but work. You get like very short sentences, and she's just like, I'm dead. I'm dying.
Yeah, thank you. It was scary because the way it happened is I fainted on the beach during family vacation in California. So that I had to go to California's hospital, whichever one was nearby us. I don't remember anymore. But I had to go to their hospital, stay there for a week. They wouldn't let us go back home because of issues with insurance. So we had to
That
fly.
wasn't during the same time as y'all West, was it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I was better then. So, but we had to fly from California to come home. And that was a whole issue in itself. And then I was in the hospital here for a month, and then I was able to go back home.
She says you're too young for health issues like that.
Yeah,
Glad you're okay.
thank you. Yeah, it kind of ruins a lot of things, to be honest, but that's why I stay indoors now.
Yeah, I thought you've had to have. I thought you had other things come up with it.
Oh, I do. I have like 6 months appointments for like checkups and whatnot. I did had 4 other surgeries when I was little. I apparently was super blue when I was born, like blue. So I had one when I was little, one at 9 months, and then one at 10, and one at 13. So
Months or years?
the months was for firstborn, and then years for the last 2.
Yeah, you got to take care of that ticker thing. It's kind of important.
It is.
It's one of those things you kind of got to have working properly.
Really, we do. But since
I know.
we're
And
kinda-
when, go ahead.
Sorry,
Sorry.
go.
When she asked about you doing post-secondary school, I wanted to be like, isn't he still in high school? Like you look like.
No, it's okay. I get it all the time. So
He really does. Okay, so like the first time that I met Drew, well, the only time I've met Drew in person, I had flown
the cutest
to
moment.
California, and I was staying with Kaylani,
And
past
Kaylani's
SeasonAthon host. I was staying with her, and we were going to go to Y'all West, and Drew and his mom came out and met us, and he was going to go to Y'all West as well, and he was super excited to meet us and everything. And so the first day, Kaylani and I were eating, and then
I
then
was
we
coming in
Drew,
while you were still eating too.
yeah,
Like
Drew came running up in the restaurant and, with his mom with a camera filming as he gave us hugs. It was cute. And then I can't remember if it was that day or the next day. We were walking around Santa Monica, and Drew's mom was like, "Okay, well, can I leave him with you? Will you take care of him? Will you watch him?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, no problem." Thinking he is a teenager. Okay, I'm thinking he's like 15 when we're there in person. And
I think I was like this as well without the facial hair. If I remember.
yeah, I mean he looked younger than he does now. This was years ago now, and I'm like 2 years ago, something like that. And anyway, I'm thinking he's like 15, 16 years old. I'm like, yeah, I got him. And he's like, oh yeah, that's BookTube mom. And I'm like, oh yeah. And Kaylani, she's like 20 years younger than me. She's like, oh well, almost 20 years old. I think she's like 26, 27. And Drew, how old are you?
I'm 25 now. I went to Y'all West 2019.
So he was 22 years old, and I thought he was 15. Okay, and then during that visit, something about age has been said or whatever, and
Oh,
and we
because I
found
called
out
you
how
with your mom.
yeah, and we found out how old he was, and I'm like, why do you need a babysitter then?
Honestly, I really didn't, but she was like, did they say? Because she asked me beforehand in the car. She's like, "Are you sure you're gonna hang out with Mel and Kalani? You met them just now." I was like, "Oh, girl, no. I've known these ladies for about a year since I before I went to Y'all West." So
Yeah, it was funny though because I was just like, no way are you that old. How are you over 20? What?
mm. And my mom to this day will still say, like, if I go pull her right now, real quick, she'll still say it. She joked with us because she knew all of us were booktubers, and she goes, with the three of them together, I was just watching off to the side, and there was a lot of hand talking in the group.
Yeah, it's funny. Like if I didn't know Drew, like how old he was, I would
Yeah.
guess by looking at him
Okay.
he's like
So
17.
you were born in 98?
99.
Okay, 99. Because my daughter was born in December of 98 and she's 25. I was like,
I know, like
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, hold on.
yeah, she'll be 26 this year. So you're right.
yeah. So does Drew break your brain? Like
Yeah. Well, I mean, my 17-year-old, I have a 17-year-old, and I thought that Drew was 17.
yeah, that's totally what I would have guessed seeing him now. Like if I didn't know any better, I would have thought he was about 17.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really good for you, Drew, because that means you're aging very well.
That's right.
And that's really going to help you out when you're like
40.
10 years from now, when you're like 35 or
It's okay.
15 years when you're 40. Yeah.
Last year, I was at a friend's birthday party and she was turning 21. So she went to the bar for the first time. And I was sitting at the bar, clean shaven as well, the day I went to the party. And I was drinking a root beer because drinking alcohol will mess up your heart. Love
Yeah.
it. So I literally just ordered a root beer, and then my server like was off for the night. So like obviously they weren't staying there the whole time. But the guy that was covering for the girl, he carded me because he thought it was beer. And I was like, no, it's just root beer. So
But also, I'm old enough, even
I
though
know I literally had my ID out anyways. I was just like, it's just root beer, but sure.
Yeah, you could totally pass for being Xander's age and hanging out with his little group.
Probably
Yeah.
could.
Cases were your two heart valves switched like in opposite spots of where they should have been.
I believe so. I don't listen to all like the techie terms for my heart stuff, even though I probably should. But yeah, I know there was I was super blue when I was first born, which was terrible. And then I know there was like a leak with my heart when I was first born as well. So they were trying to fix that immediately. So yeah.
My cousin's baby has TGA, which is where the two main arteries leaving the heart are reversed. The baby isn't born yet. It was a fluke that they caught it on sonogram. It
Ooh,
will need lots of surgery. So poor baby.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a lot of surgeries.
Yeah.
So I hope it's all well.
There, T says she wouldn't have guessed how old you
you're
are.
25.
But T, we've been in Mel's Discord for what? A year now, I think.
Yeah, but still didn't know how old you were. You're set when you're 40. Yeah. I mean, I was very much the same way, like growing up, because when I was 18, people thought I was 12, and it was really, really, really annoying then. But as I got older, I was like, okay, this is not so bad, because eventually my younger sisters started looking well. Actually, when I was 18, my younger sisters were already looking older than me, which was part of the problem because I remember these guys hitting on my baby sister, and I was 19 at the time, and so she was 13, like 12 or 13. But girl does not look 12 or 13. She looked like she was 18 or 19. And these grown men were hitting on her. I was like, that is my baby sister. And granted, I look like a child. And I was like, that is my baby sister. And they're like, how old are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, how old is she? And I'm like,
Oh, well.
I got S.
I was born 1980. What about you, Amanda?
I was born in 1977.
Oh. Marty's 79.
My cousin's 79.
Yeah, he's September 79, and I'm May 1980. So I tell him he's an old man.
Oh, well, my husband is his birthday is in August. So from August to June, he's a year older than me. And then from June to August, we're the same age. So I don't say anything about it for those months. But then as soon as he has his birthday, he's an old man. So it's
That's exactly how we are. I got asked for my ID 2 weeks ago. People tend to think I'm closer to Drew's age.
Oh.
I'm a 1984 baby. Oh my. She looks good for her age.
Oh, so that means this is 40 for you then.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
people think
my
she's
birthday,
25.
as we know, was in June, and I turned 47. So
The same week as mine.
I know.
Have a nice.
SeasonAthon, because of when it is, it's never going to be on my birthday because my birthday's in May.
Oh yes.
My
Don't
brother's
remind me.
May 7th. When is yours?
May 7th.
Oh my gosh. We talked about this, I think, on Instagram. Because I'm like, wait, how did I know you were going to say May 7th?
Yeah, 40 in October.
Amazing.
Yeah, I am 40. I turned 44 in May.
Mom.
It's so weird.
Look,
I was
trying to figure out how old his mom is.
My dad just,
Yeah, I have to do the same thing. I'm like, math.
my
Mine's
dad just
easy.
do 50.
My mom's 60.
My mother was born in 1950, so it's easy for me to go 74.
right back.
She'll be 70.
That's always nice.
I know. And then I just have to add 2 for my dad, so he's going to be 76. Done. Like, that's easy to do. Oh, look, May 8th. Okay. In 1991, I was starting high school. Let's don't do that.
When I wear makeup, I definitely look way younger than my age.
Oh.
May 8th. 33 in December.
In December. Wow.
Mel, my mama is older than yours. Mine will be 63 in December. Yeah, my mom turned 60 in March.
Oh, so Kay, you and your mom are both December babies, I guess, right? My daughter is the 21st of December, and then I have 2 cousins that are the 1st and the 5th of December. So we have a lot of December people.
So Kay's mom had her at 30, almost exactly.
I was exactly 30 when I had my youngest, which is why he's 17 and I'm 47.
I had Becca. So Becca's birthday is May 16th, 9 days after my birthday. And I had her almost right at 20.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was almost 25. I was 20.
I have a 42 years older brother. Oh, wait. Okay. So he's not 42 years older than you. He's 42 years old.
He's 42 and she's about to be 40. There you go.
For a second, my brain was like, you have a brother that's 42 years older?
I know. I was counting her parents. I was like, wait, what is happening? But
we're all in December. My mom and my father, me and my bro, and our first dog was this December baby. Wow. That's something. Bella is a December dog. She's a Christmas doggo. Einstein is I think both Einstein and Snicker, I want to say, are March doggos.
Django is May 4th, and then we got Skeeter from somebody that had no idea, so we gave her the birthday of him so they could celebrate together and we wouldn't have to remember another day. So
my bestie had her oldest on her 20th birthday.
My youngest is shares a birthday with his grandmother. My mother-in-law and him have the same birthday.
Me and my father-in-law have the same birthday, and my mother-in-law and my youngest sister have the same birthday.
My brother-in-law and I have the same birthday. So my husband, when we first started dating, he was like, "Oh, so I don't have to remember another birthday. You're the same as my brother." Like, okay.
My mom turned 70 in March.
I found the answer for Mom's. She's 77.
Did you go ask her how old she is?
No, I just asked for the year.
Oh, same as me, 77.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she's March 77. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good. She's older than me. No, I'm just.
I asked her, and she's like, "Why are you asking me?" I was like, "We're just talking about age on YouTube right now. It's fine."
You're like, I just want to tell the whole internet how old you are.
Yeah, you turned 47 just like Amanda did.
Yeah. I know. I was like, I think you're the same age as Amanda, or you might be a year older, because I couldn't remember what you just said. So
yeah. I'm 77. June. Mine is 6/11/77. So it flows nicely.
Marty's is 9/10/79. Just
Truth's mom is like, don't have me on the end. No, for real. She literally, because Mel met Mom, so Mom was just like, why?
Well, the fact that you sat down and said my mom is 77, I was like, dang, she had Drew when she was old. And then I realized that you meant she was born in 77. I thought you meant she was 77 years old. I was like, my gosh. She was 52 having babies. But
oh, I know, okay. That's why I never say either to Mom or anyone I meet.
You just told your mama's age.
So I just asked for the year and y'all did the math for me.
Okay.
That's not the same thing, Amanda.
I was like, dang, Drew's mama is having babies in her 50s. Okay. That could not be me. I said to my husband the other day, I was like, what if we had another baby? And he was like, no. And then we went to dinner with our friends who have a 2-year-old. And I was like, never mind. Forget that I said that. Like, I forgot about 2-year-olds. So never mind. Like,
my friend that lives across the street from the house I lived in before, she ended up with her grandchild. Like her daughter called her while she's in the hospital. She's like, hey, I need you to take custody of this kid. Yeah. And so she got a surprise baby at our age. And she's, I mean, more power to her, because I'll never tell this child, but she did call me up and she was like, do you want to adopt a kid? I was like, no, I'm good. Thanks.
Oh, I would in a heartbeat. We were foster parents forever and ever, and we're going to do it again when we're done being in the military. But right now, they keep moving us, and then the kids are going to have to leave. So we're going to stop. But I think what we're going to do ultimately is we're going to try to do foster for pregnant teens, just so they have some support, because they don't have any support or they wouldn't be in foster care to begin with. So I think that's what we want to do.
My bestie wants to be around another kid, so she said I need to have one. I'm like, no, I want to spend my life traveling, right?
Yeah, then don't do that. I mean, unless you're prepared to take them with you, don't do that.
I have thought about doing the foster thing quite a bit over the years, but like originally, I was all for it, but I couldn't do it because of both parents have to go through like the training or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And with Marty's schedule, he couldn't do any, like it was set times and he couldn't do it because he has rotating shift work. So he goes back and forth between nights and days, literally every week. And so it was just not possible. And I was like, well, maybe someday. And then now I'm like, that was also when Xander was like 11, 12. I was thinking about that. But now I'm like, he's 18. Yay! Done. We succeeded.
Right. I know. I'm doing the same thing where I'm like, but I mean, you get to say the ages and everything. So like I went through a phase where I was like, you give me 5 to 9-year-olds. Like, I do not want a baby. I'm so tired of changing diapers. I will take 5 to 9-year-olds at this point because that's just where I was in my life. And so you can specify and be like, I only want babies or I don't want any baby, whatever. So there are ways to work around
Somebody
it.
froze. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm now at the point that I'm like, I don't have to teach anymore. I
Mhm.
don't have to do anything as far as like I'm here for my kids if they need me, whatever, cool. They know I'm here. But I don't want to I want to be able to just go and do
Yeah.
and travel the world and see all the things
Well,
and
and there needs to be a transition period anyway. When you end one big part of your life, like don't make any big choices about the next part anyway. Like there needs to be a nothing period where you can
yeah.
do whatever you want.
Because like right now I'm old enough that I don't have to take care of children if I don't want to, and I'm young enough that I can still move around easily and get out and enjoy things and do things and have fun. Granted, I have lots of injuries from this trip that I'm still recovering from, but I was able to go out and do the things and enjoy the things. I think the only thing I couldn't actually do um that I had originally wanted to do was the skiing, and that's probably for the best because I probably would have injured myself more.
Right. Hurt something else.
But I think on that particular day that we were doing that, shortly before that, I had actually broken my toenail, like past the skin and stuff. It was really painful, and so I was just like, no, I don't think I should do that.
Yikes.
Oh man, absolutely not. LOL. I would have thought about fostering, but I'm single and work 10 plus hours at least 4 days a week. I don't think it would work.
So we actually did a class. So that's another thing in the States. I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but in the States, every state has their own laws about fostering. They have their own rules for what you have to do. Like everything is very state centric as far as all of that goes. And so we had to be trained in every state. So far, we've been licensed in 4 states and we had to be retrained in every one of them. And so in multiple of those classes, we did have a few single parents that were in there, and they happened to have either a really good support system around them, like their family was willing to help with babysitting. And then here, you're also compensated for a certain amount of childcare. And so they got help that way. And that's the way they did it. But it was also, they were doing it because especially the one that I got to be the closest with, she was really doing it because she wanted to foster and then also potentially adopt somebody eventually. And so she was willing to do all the life changes that needed to happen because that's what she was preparing for a child in her life anyway. So, but there are ways to work it if that's what you want to do. But if you feel like it's too much, then it's certainly not something to do. So,
yeah, I hosted I for many years I hosted exchange students, and that was a really cool experience. That might be an easier thing to try out first, but it's also not the same because those kids aren't kids of trauma, whereas a lot of the foster kids you get might have gone through one kind of trauma or another, or have one kind of issue or another. And that was another big thing because I recently met a lady who's fostered, I think she said 180 something children and over 26 years, and she doesn't do it now. She's retired from fostering, and her and her husband are traveling the world. But she made me think about a whole lot of things that you might not think about, people might not think about. Like you have to, if you're fostering a for me, for example, if I were fostering a girl, I would have to make sure that there was always a female around with that girl and not leave her alone in the house with son or husband, because you never know if they might want to say something, whether something happens or not. They could say something and that could cause issues. And I'm just like, yeah, you don't. And she was like, there was so much like things like that she had a
The
lot of good runs, but there were also a lot of really bad things too that she
mhm.
had to deal with. And
The
she's just like,
things that were the hardest, we always had little kids. Like I said, 9 was as high as we ever went, but we mostly had little ones. And the hardest part for me was for the little ones, especially, they have no idea what's going on, and trying to explain to like a 3-year-old why they are now at your house and all they want is their mom, or all they want is the last person they were with. And so, and there's no way for you to make them understand, like you just can't. And so that would just be heartbreaking. You would be rocking them at night and they're just crying for whoever they want that's not you, that was their comfort person. And so it was always, that was the hard part. And then just watching, like I see that T said the system is something that is also the same here in the States, and we have a huge issue with all of it. And you do get paid to foster, but nobody. So I've seen the people in movies and TV shows that are fostering for the money, and nobody doing that. Like, it's cheaper to go stand out in the street and ask for money. You're going to make more money than fostering for money. Like, I don't know where those people were on, and I hate that too, that on movies and TV shows, the foster people are always awful. Like, the foster parents are always awful and they're mean to the kids.
well,
And
that's, I think that's also like how like the stepmothers are,
yeah, I'm like, I don't
projected
like
to.
that. Foster parents are nice. Some foster
I,
parents are
I
nice.
think I think there are probably just as many good, if not more, foster parents than there are bad, but I'm sure there are definitely bad ones as well.
Right.
There just can't not be.
There's so many
It's
things that
just
you
how
have
they
to
live.
do, though, and so many, like, we had visits all the time. It felt like there was always somebody in my house, whether it was my specific caseworker or one of the kids' caseworkers. Like, I just felt like somebody was constantly in my house and inspecting something. We had to have a monthly fire drill where I had to get all the kids out of the house and time it, how long it took us to get out of the house. And I was like,
I also think, like, from probably one of the hard parts for me is if there isn't a problem, if there isn't like really bad issues and everything is great and hunky dory and they're so sweet and precious and you just want to love them all the time, and then they leave.
mm-hmm.
I
It's devastating.
that would like like
It's
that would
devastating.
crush me.
And it was hard. When we started, my oldest was 4 years old and he didn't understand anything that was happening. Like, he knew that there was a kid there and then there was a kid gone. And he was like, we were in the car one day and he said, if you had a baby in your belly, then they couldn't take it away. Like, he was so mad.
Aww.
And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I can't help that though. Yeah, it's devastating. We had such great experiences, even when it wasn't all wonderful and great. The
Mhm.
kids were still just the best, and it was so
I imagine too, like if it starts out rocky and then as things go, things get better and there's a connection formed and all that stuff.
well.
And
And then the
there's
caseworker,
progression and it makes it
yes,
even
and the
more.
caseworker would show up and say, "It looks like it might be headed toward adoption," and then call us the next day and be like, "Sorry, their dad showed up." Like, I'll be like, like, so it was always something. I feel like.
Yeah, see, the big one thing that would be a thing for me is I would end up wanting to keep them.
Oh, for sure. But we did it with the knowledge that we were willing to adopt if it was an option. So we were kind of ready for that.
I thought about doing that too, and then Xander would do something stupid. Xander would do something so so beyond stupid. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't need any more.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, oh man. I remember one of the times, it was around the time I was thinking about this, and he goes and him and his friend, oh my Lord, like his friend shows up with a thermos. Okay. I should have thought, I didn't think of checking what this kid, I thought he had his, water bottle thing, but apparently he had, scavenged his parents' little liquor cabinet thing and poured all kinds of different liquors into this thermos. And it was like, I can't remember what all he said was in it later when I asked, but it was like wine and vodka and a whole bunch of other, like just everything that because he was pouring like little bits from a bunch of stuff so they wouldn't notice. And they started, I guess, drinking this stuff after I had gone to bed, and they drank it all. And then I had some bottles of wine and a bottle of like Captain Morgan's, and these were like up in, we had a big pantry, and they were on the top shelf of the pantry in the corner up against the wall that's the doors on, so they're not, no, like you literally have to go in the closet and turn and look up to see these things. But he knew they were there apparently. And the next morning I get up and I walk down the stairs, and the first thing I see is red all over the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Because I think somebody hurt themselves. And there's glass, and it was a wine bottle that was like busted all over the floor. And it took me a second to realize what it was. And I go and look, and I'm like, a quick count. And I was like, well, everything's there. And then I was like, wait, no, not everything's there. They had put a big like cup, like thermos cup in the place of a bottle of wine. So I guess you wouldn't notice that something was missing there. And the Captain Morgan's, it was like some Parrot Bay. That was actually water because they had drank all the Parrot Bay that was in there.
Oh my God.
And I realized that like other bottles were changed out, and the bottles that were up there were not up there anymore. And then in the basement, so they couldn't find a wine opener. They couldn't find a bottle opener. And so apparently they decided that the best thing to do was take the bottle and a hammer and hit and break the top off, the whole top, the stem of the, yeah. And so they got hammered, okay, completely smashed. And I guess at some point in time they had gone outside, and we had this one room that I kept closed off from the rest of the house because we had a bunny rabbit, and the bunny rabbit could get out of its pen occasionally. And there was also a door that went from that room to the driveway. And I get up, and that door is open. The door to the driveway is open, and there's no bunny in the house. And I'm like, my bunny. And I was so upset. And so I'm like discovering all of this stuff as soon as I wake up. I'm like, the alcohol, like the floor is a disaster. The alcohol's gone. The bunny's missing. I go upstairs and I'm like, you need to get your butt up and you need to go find my bunny.
Right.
And our roof was getting replaced at the same time. And so we had roofers showing up, and I sent Xander outside to go, and I told him, I was like, go look in the driveway and like right inside, because we had some woods right behind our house. I was like, just look right around the woods, because I didn't figure he would actually go, like the bunny would go very far, or he would just be gone. And so Xander goes, and I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes later, one of the roofers knocks on the door, and he's like, hey, do you have a bunny? And I'm like, yes. Oh my gosh. And they're like, it's under the car. You want some help getting it? I was like, yes, please. So they helped me, like, kind of rang him in and got the bunny and brought him in the house. And then I went off to my back porch because I didn't see Xander. And I yelled for Xander, hey, we found the bunny, come back. And went back in the house. 10-15 minutes go by, no Xander. And so I go out and I yell for him again. And I don't see him. There's no response. And I'm like, okay, go get his friend who's passed out upstairs. And I send him, which he goes out for just a few minutes and stumbles back. He's also, they were both still hammered at this point in time the next morning. He stumbles back. He's like, I couldn't find him. I'm like, oh. So I go out there and I'm searching like all over like this huge area, and I'm yelling for him and yelling for him. Can't find him anywhere. And he ended up missing for 4.5 hours. I ended up having to get the sheriff, like they were about to, I already had the police out there. They were talking about getting dogs out in the woods looking for him. And they had already called to get a drone brought out, just like a heat signature drone to see if they could find him. And Xander's friend, his dad had showed up and he was like searching the woods. These are big woods. So like he had gone off and gotten himself lost in these woods. And my friend across the street, she was like, I asked her if she'd seen him. I'd also gone to like, there's a park ranger, because the area we lived, there was like park rangers were the authority of that area. And I told them, and they're the ones who had called the sheriff. And so they were keeping an eye out for him. And then Donna was like, I got to go to the grocery store. Let me know if you find him or whatever. And so she leaves and she's driving down this main road, and then she calls me and she's like, oh my gosh, I found him. He had just stumbled out onto the road way over there after 4.5 hours making it. He thought he was a goner. His clothes were shredded and dirty, and he was dehydrated and had been hallucinating. And he was
still drunk?
Yes.
I cannot believe they didn't try to take him away from you. Like,
yeah, I was just like,
were involved anyway.
Well, I told the police like the nonsense that they had gotten into and like how this whole thing started. And so yeah, it was. Luckily, when I sent him out, because it was hot, it was in the middle of summer. When I sent him out, I did send him with 2 bottles of water just because it was that hot outside. But he had gone through those 2 bottles of water. He had found some, he said he was like out in the woods, and I guess he was like, somebody had some cameras set up for like deer or whatever out there. And he said he was looking at one and he was like, don't shoot me, I'm lost. And he said he found this like abandoned shelter type thing out in the woods, and he was like, I guess I live here now.
Oh my gosh. If it's one of those game cameras, they usually just take a picture when there's movement in front of it. Can you imagine the person that owns that camera? They were like, this kid stumbled onto our thing.
Yeah. I was just, oh my gosh. I wanted to wring his neck. And so that was one of the times that I was just like, no, I think I'm good. I don't think I need any more. It's literally things like that made me go, you know what? Maybe I'm good. I've thought about fostering, but I already read that one. My bestie's youngest has already said they would wipe my booty for me when I'm an old lady and can't do it myself. So I'm sad. I don't need to have one of my own.
There you go.
You make good money fostering here. There are a lot of children from the many reserves around here, but I wouldn't do it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
They're so desperate for foster parents. They have an initiative here that they'll purchase a house for you to live in while fostering the kids. Wow. I'm surprised. Like, I'm surprised more wouldn't do that just for that purpose alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't get about the system here. If it's been proven that stability is where kids thrive, then why move the kids from foster house to foster house? Doesn't make sense.
I know. So we only took one foster kid from another foster house, and it's because he was only 3 years old, but he was quite aggressive for a 3-year-old, and they had started taking in medically fragile children, and so they had a little girl in a wheelchair, and he was going up and like pinching her legs and hitting her and doing violent things to her, and they needed him to be in a different location, so he came to our house. But other than that, we had nobody that went from foster house to foster home. They all left our house and went to their forever home, whether it was an adoptive home or back to family members or whatever. But I know that it happens sometimes, and I just don't know exactly what the thought processes are. But yeah, it's not good.
Hey, Terrell. That must have tasted vile. I know, right? I was just like, when I got them to tell me what was in there, I was just like, how did you not just like hurl right away? That sounds awful. It was the time they lost the bunny. Yep. Yeah, I talked about this on my channel as that happened. It was a thing. It was a big thing. That child had, oh my goodness. If I look my age, it's because he aged me. I looked a whole lot younger. Oh my Lord. Then there was like the time he got held at gunpoint and got carjacked. Yeah, him and his friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to dinner with the family. Sorry. Okay. Bye, Drew. OMG Xander. Yep. Poor Mel, a mom's worst nightmare. Makes me thankful I didn't have a boy. Yeah. Oh my.
Well, I don't know. She's got 3 girls, so it might be they're just not old enough to cause that many problems yet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When they got carjacked, that was terrifying because they like his friend. It was a different friend than the one that with the alcohol. But his friend had left his phone plugged in at our house because it was dead. And they went out and they were in an area where it was not the safest, and they got carjacked. And his friend, even though his friend's older than him, he's like very innocent, very naive. When the guns came out, he thought they were Nerf guns. Yeah. And he was like, ha ha, guys, real funny. No. And Xander's like, shut the up, dude. And when they took off in the car, Noah was like, I think they just stole the car. And Xander's like, yeah, no shit. Yeah. And of course, everything else they had, like Xander's phone and everything. And so they were supposed to be back home by like 9:30, and 9:30 came and went. 10 came and went. I'm like calling him, nothing, he's not answering because he doesn't have his phone. I'm like using every form of communication I can. I can't track his phone, nothing. I'm freaking out. And like 10:30 comes and goes, 11 comes and goes, and I'm freaking out because he was supposed to be home already at 9:30, and I've gone from like angry to panicked, and I'm just like I'm practically in tears. And then I get a phone call from some random number, and it was like a woman's name, and I was like, hello? And it was Xander. And they had been walking, and there just happened to be some guy and this is not a good neighborhood. Some guy outside working on his car late at night with the light shining down into the car he's working. And they stopped and they were like asked if they could use his phone to call his mom, and I think the guy thought that they were going to steal his phone because the guy was apparently like this, like waiting for the phone back the whole time. Um, and so I told Xander, I was like, okay, look around. What do you see? Um, do you see any signs, any businesses, anything? And he could see a sign for a particular like gas station kind of place. It's called Midnight Oil. And I was like, okay, I want you to go there and find some place where you can't be seen, like where y'all can kind of hide and stay there until I can get there. And they had these big propane tank things, like huge tank things that they kind of went between and stayed hidden there. And I called Marty at work because I was home alone. Called Marty at work, told him what was going on, called the cops, called Noah's parents, and I get there and Xander and Noah go to get in my car, and they're like, "Can we just go home?" I'm like, "No!" Like Noah's car's been stolen.
Right. Like the whole car got stolen.
The whole car is gone. Noah, he gets out of his car with a tennis racket and a shoe, one shoe, a singular shoe, like because he just thought it was a joke. It was some kids that did it. Like, yeah. But Xander knew it wasn't a joke when there was a gun in it, like sticking in his stomach. But I was a mess. I was, whew, and Xander was a mess for a long time after that. Like that was his turning point. That was his. I almost died. And he actually had more nightmares about Noah getting hurt because he thought Noah was going to do something or say something stupid and get himself hurt. And Noah's a couple years older than Xander, but he was just so in his own little happy place all the time. Love how you said it was terrifying because, like, if you have to justify why being carjacked is terrifying. Well, yeah. Okay, so yes. Well, at least one person did. Okay. So the next day, Noah's parents, I'm on the phone with them, and Xander and I were coming back from, I don't know, a dentist appointment or something. And I'm talking to Noah's mom on the phone, and she's like, they were driving around the neighborhood to see if maybe like where it happened, to see if maybe they could find the car. And while I'm on the phone, and she's like, we found him. And like they popped a U-turn and they started, the car was driving. They popped a U-turn and are following the car. It's got like 6 kids in it. And so I was like, you need to call the cops. And because I mean, obviously these kids have guns, and we're like, you need to call the cops. And so she calls the cops, and I'm like, tell me where you are, and so we can come and you know, we want to meet you there. And so we go, and the kids eventually, they like ditched the car and all just took off. And at some, I think it was, I can't remember if it was a church or a community center or something, big parking lot. They took off. And so she stayed with the car. The car, like they had gone on a joyride for sure. They had, like, there was some damage to the outside of the car, but there was also damage all inside the car. It reeked of weed. They had written with permanent marker on the interior in places. Like just they made a mess inside the car and outside of the car. And the cops showed up and they like dusted for fingerprints and stuff, but they were like, it's a little tricky because it's kids. And so when taking the fingerprints, they can't just run it through a database and match it. If they're looking for kids' fingerprints, they have to like go and say, is this so and so's fingerprints, and try to match. They can't just run it through a system. They have to have like possibilities. And okay, so Xander had been in contact with one of them, and but he didn't have his phone, so he couldn't like show the guy anything. And so I thought, well, Noah has his phone now, and they were talking on Snapchat, and so Xander just logged into his Snapchat on Noah's phone, and the guy, the like leader that pulled this whole thing off or whatever, he was really stupid and had taken pictures of himself with a timestamp inside the stolen car, like showing things off inside the stolen car with him in the car on his Snapchat stories. And so he got caught. He got caught. Not nothing really happened to him so much, except he's supposed to be paying restitution. I think I don't know how much or if anything Noah's parents got. I think we got like $40 at this point from him, because it's like it's supposed to be a little bit each month or something like that. But this was a long time ago now, and we've gotten 2 checks, like 20 something dollars each. So I don't know whatever happened to the kid, but I know that he's the only one I think that got caught. But there were definitely other kids involved, but I guess he didn't rat on them or whatever.
That is crazy.
$40 one therapy session costs more than that. You're right. And poor
True.
kid, man, he was messed up. Like he would wake up like crying and stuff because he thought he was dreaming that Noah died and Noah got shot and stuff. Like he was so worried about his friend. But
That's messed up.
yeah, though that was definitely a big turning point for Xander, and he straightened up a bit after that. He was like, "No, okay, I'm done with all the nonsense." Yeah, that was also before that time. He stole $1,000 at one point, and he stole $1,000 from me, and we were at Ulta. Okay, I had taken him to get his hair done and my hair done before we went on a big trip. I think it was the Canadian cruise, like the Alaskan cruise thing, I think. Anyway, we had gone to get our hair done the night before, and I had this money. Before going to Ulta, I had gone to the bank and pulled out this money to take with us on the trip. This was the cruise money. And his hair got done first. My hair took longer. And he had left at one point to go run to Starbucks and back. And he went out again and was like, I'm going to go hang out in the car. And he comes back and he's like, no. He called me from outside and he said, somebody broke into the car. He's like, the car's trashed. Like inside the car's trashed. The money's gone. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I called the police, all this stuff. And we were at Ulta till like 10 o'clock at night dealing with police. And he had staged the whole thing. And while I was, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. While I was dealing with the police, he was on his phone making arrangements of what to do with a big chunk of this money. Read between the lines there. That he met with somebody at midnight at our house after we got home to buy something that he ended up getting busted with. And it all got flushed down the toilet. Actually, it didn't. Some of it got given to my neighbor, but he didn't know that. But yeah, he did a lot of stupid things back then. So fortunately, he's a good boy now.
I can see why that would put you off of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good boy now.
Ugh.
Not that's not so far in the past that I can't remember. You know,
Mm-hmm.
another system that is so dumb. Unless you steal money from the government, they don't care. Yeah, for $1,000. Yeah, yeah. He did some stupid stuff, and oh man, he was so grounded and like life no longer existed for him for a while after that.
Mm-hmm. I imagine so. My dog is asleep in the chair with me, and he apparently started dreaming and just started kicking me. And I was like, what? He's super asleep. Super
Oh,
asleep.
they're all behind me. Hold on.
I love it.
Let's see. I gotta unplug all the things. Man, my computer's attached to 15 different things.
Something's happening.
Yeah, I'm unplugging all the things. Okay, here we go. There's a wait, hold on, which way? There's a Bella,
Yeah, nice.
and there's a Snicker, and then
Oh,
there's
yeah.
an Einstein.
There you go. Nice. That's beautiful railing on your stairs, by the way.
Hold on, here we go. This is the office.
All the bookshelves.
Let's see.
Maybe I just think I need bookshelves because I see everybody else is looking pretty and I want some.
There's a where the front door is. Hold on, let's see. This
Oh gosh, T. Mine are 12 and 14 years old. They have no puppy energy anymore.
this is the monstrosity that I'm trying to put together.
The
I got
bed.
that much of it done, but there's so many pieces, so many different pieces, and very few things actually are lettered and numbered.
I've never even thought about putting together a Murphy bed, so I can't imagine.
There's so much to do.
11 years old and then a 3-month-old puppy. Wow.
It's a baby. Oh my gosh, our puppy is so stinking cute. I forget what its name is, but it's so cute. She said, T's one of my coffee patrons, and she has shared all the cute puppy pictures in there.
Nice.
Man, my mom got it so easy with me and my bro. Right? I was such an easy kid. My mom was here this past weekend, and we were talking about. I was like, yeah, like I was old. I got in trouble like all the time, but it was like regular kid stuff, like totally regular kid stuff. My biggest thing was like maybe going from one place to another without telling her, like remembering to tell her or ask permission and just going. Like that was my big thing. Like I was a good kid. And I was like, but my sisters, like they progressively got worse behaved, but they didn't get nearly as much trouble as I did. And I'm like, so not fair. My bro would never, when he did tame bad stuff with his friends, after they talked him into it, he would come home and tell on himself.
Tell on himself. That's fantastic.
I love that. That's sweet. That's pretty precious there. Like, how could you be mad if like they came home and just ratted on themselves? Like,
right.
I can't not tell you, Mom. My dogs were running around playing. I forgot how much energy a puppy has. Oh my, the books. This ain't nothing. Charlie is the puppy and Vinny is the oldest.
Mm. So in the Sims, so Simsalin came from my Sims channel, and in the Sims, you can die in the Murphy bed. When
you're closing up on you.
When you're trying to open the bed, there can be a thing that happens and it closes back up on your Sim and they die. Yes. So
oh gosh.
The death by Murphy bed is a joke we do all the time.
That's funny. Wyatt is my neighbor's dog who's obsessed with me.
I love the name Wyatt. It's so funny. Oh,
family dog is 16. He has invertebral disc disease. Oh, that's awful. The pain meds are working wonders, but it's degenerative. His discs are pushing into his spinal cord. Poor baby.
I know. At least the pain meds are working. I can't imagine. Oh,
Once the pain meds stop working, we'll
yeah.
have to put him down. Yeah. He's a good bro. The dog or the brother?
Both.
Or both.
They're both.
That sounds like it. They both sound like good boys.
When
David's
my
a good boy.
oldest son was little, we met a kid named Wyatt, and my son was like, "Can I change my name to Wyatt?" I'm like, "No, not until you're 18." He's like, "Okay, well, when I'm 18, I'm changing it to Wyatt."
The brother, the dog's a little shit.
Nice.
Funny. Which of these summary Carly Fortune books would you want to buy, read, or unhaul? Every Summer After, Meet Me at the Lake, or This Summer Will Be Different?
Okay.
I think I own Meet Me at the Lake. I think. And the other ones I don't know anything about. So I haven't read
know anything about them either, but I'm going to answer this question strictly based on the title and what I think they're about. Okay. So Every Summer After sounds like it's going to be something that repeats itself, or maybe it is a blast from the past romance situation, which I do not like.
Hold on.
So, okay.
You're gonna guess what they're about and say your thoughts on it, but I'm gonna actually.
I think it's a second chance romance. Every Summer After, I think it's a second chance romance. I don't even know what kind of books Carly Fortune writes. Are they mysteries? Are they
Every Summer After?
Yeah.
They say you can never go home again. And for Persephone Fraser, ever since she made the biggest mistake of her life a decade ago, that has felt too true. Instead of glittering summers on the lakeshore of her childhood, she spends them in a stylish apartment in the city, going out with friends and keeping everyone a safe distance from her heart, until she receives a call that sends her racing back to Barry's Bay and into the orbit of Sam Florrick, the man she never thought she'd have to live without.
There we go, second chance romance.
For 6 summers, through hazy afternoons on the water and warm summer nights, working in his family's restaurant and curling up together with books, medical textbooks for him, and work-in-progress horror short stories for her, Percy and Sam have been inseparable. Eventually, that friendship turned into something breathtakingly more before it fell spectacularly apart. When Percy returns to the lake for Sam's mother's funeral, their connection is undeniable, as it's always been. But until Percy can confront the decisions she made and the years she spent punishing herself for them, they'll never know whether their love might be bigger than the biggest mistakes of their past. Told over the course of 6 years and 1 weekend, Every Summer After is a big, sweeping, nostalgic look at love and the people and choices that mark us forever. No. So, yeah, that was a pretty good.
I'm unhauling that one, by the way. Okay. Then we have Meet Me at the Lake, which I'm a little bit worried also that's going to be like a repeat lake visit. But I'm still going to say that I would I would buy this one. Also, have to read it? Meet Me at the Lake. So,
Also, Every Summer After has a 552,000 ratings and a 4.21 on Goodreads.
Well, people like it. It sounds way too nostalgic, and no, second chance romance for me.
Okay, so what do you think?
At the lake. Well, I can't figure out what the trope is going to be for Meet Me at the Lake, but let's go with a coming of age story, romance where they're just together forever. I don't know.
All right, so this one has 228,000 ratings and is a 3.7. It says Fern Brookbanks has wasted far too much of her adult life thinking about Will Baxter. She spent just 24 hours in her early 20s with the aggravatingly attractive, idealistic artist, a chance encounter that spiraled into a day-long adventure in Toronto. The timing was wrong, but their connection was undeniable. They shared every secret, every dream, and made a pact to meet 1 year later. Fern showed up, Will didn't. At 32, Fern's life doesn't look at all how she once imagined it would. Instead of living in the city, Fern's back home running her mother's Masuka Lakeside Resort, something she vowed she would never do. The place is in disarray. Her ex-boyfriend's the manager, and Fern doesn't know where to begin. She needs a plan, a lifeline. To her surprise, it comes in the form of Will, who arrives 9 years too late with a suitcase in tow and an offer to help on his lips. Will may be the only person who understands what Fern's going through, but how could she possibly trust this expensive suit-wearing mirage who seems nothing like the young man she met all those years ago? Will is hiding something, and Fern's not sure she wants to know what it is. But 10 years ago, Will Baxter rescued Fern. Can she do the same for him?
Okay, so Kay is guessing that he got into an accident or one of his parents died, and that's why he didn't make the reunion. I think the same thing, but also here's what I'm not going to like about this book. I know already is that he is never going to tell her what the issue was about why he wasn't there until the last chapter of the whole book. And it's going to make me real mad about how it's going to drag out and out to the end. So,
and then we have This Summer Will Be Different.
Okay. This summer will be different. It's going to be a fake dating where somebody continuously has to go back with their parents to a summer something. And this time they're coming back with a significant other. So they're going to fake date somebody. I'm only saying this because fake dating is my favorite trope. And I would like for one of these books to sound appealing to me. So this is the one I want to read.
Okay. So this has 84,000 ratings and a 4.09. It says, this summer, they'll keep their promise. This summer, they won't give in to temptation. This summer will be different. Lucy is the tourist vacationing at a beach house on Prince Edward Island. Felix is the local who shows her a very good time. The only problem, Lucy doesn't know he's her best friend's younger brother. Lucy and Felix's chemistry is unreal, but the list of reasons why they need to stay away from each other is long, and they vow to never repeat that electric night again. It's easier said than done. Each year, Lucy escapes to PEI for a big breath of coastal air, fresh oysters, and crisp vino verde with her best friend, Bridget. Every visit begins with a long walk on the beach beneath soaring red cliffs and a golden sun, and every visit, Lucy promises herself she won't wind up in Felix's bed again. If Lucy can't help being drawn to Felix, at least she's always kept her heart out of it. When Bridget suddenly flees Toronto a week before her wedding, Lucy drops everything to follow her to the island. Her mission is to help Bridget through her crisis and resist the one man she's never been able to. But Felix's sparkling eyes and flirty quips have been replaced with something new, and Lucy's beginning to wonder just how safe her heart truly is. I mean, I would totally read all of these, honestly.
She lives in Toronto with her husband and 2 sons. You're supposed to say Toronto, right? Not with a T. Yeah. Toronto. But it says she spent her young life in the suburbs of Sydney, Australia. And in Barry's Bay, a tiny lakeside town in rural Ontario, and the setting for Every Summer After. They're all second chance romances, which I dislike a lot. So I'm going to pass on those.
Okay, which random romantasy series would you want to recommend to fans of Fourth Wing, Throne of Glass, and ACOTAR?
I don't know, because I didn't like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass. I'm so sorry.
I love ACOTAR. I was okay with Throne of Glass. And
as does everybody in the world. I liked the first Throne of Glass book more than I liked the first ACOTAR book. So... But I think it could be because it was the first one I read. I just like an assassin story. So I really liked it. I like a competition story as well. So I liked it. But what romantasy series would you recommend? What about the Jennifer Armentrout? Like, if you like those, wouldn't you like some of her stuff?
Yes. Like a Flesh and Fire.
Yeah. So like she's got From Blood and Ash. I don't know what.
From Blood and Ash. That's what I'm thinking of. From Blood and Ash.
This one is Poppy, right?
Yeah.
And she's the maiden. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would say From Blood and Ash would be a good one. When people ask me questions like this, I forget every book I've ever read.
I know, I do the same thing. Although, wow, A Shadow in the Ember.
I haven't read that one, so I don't know.
That one has Serafina in it. But I think all of them are that kind of same romantasy.
Which of these whimsical Ashley Poston romance books would you want to buy, read, or unhaul? The Dead Romantics, The 7-Year Slip, or a novel love story?
I already know about The 7-Year Slip, and that's an absolute no for me. I'm not reading that one at all. I'm unhauling it immediately. The other two, I don't know what they are, but... I'm not reading a book where you're falling in love with somebody who lives 7 years in the past or the future from where you are. That is just nothing but like an appetite? No, a
Headache,
well, yeah, but I was gonna say a
aggravation.
recipe for disappointment is what I was trying to say.
So I actually just recently hauled the Dead Romantics,
Well,
and
there you go.
I've been thinking about buying a novel love story. So
Have you read The 7-Year Slip?
I don't think so. So probably I'd say I guess unhaul the 7-Year Slip. Read read the Dead Romantic since I already own it, and buy a novel love story. T says I read Throne of Glass and Akatar first book in each series, didn't like it at all. I'm quickly fading and I have to get up early. Thank you for the hangouts, but I'm going to head to bed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out, Kay.
I know. I'm getting tired too. The 7-Year Slip. Yeah, it's got such a high rating. There's just no way that I'm reading that book.
Amanda, have you read The Time Traveler's Wife? Sounds like a similar sci-fi premise.
No, for the same reason. Like, I can't stand like domestic weirdness that's happening. I don't like domestic thrillers too. I don't like. This is an extraordinary love story of Claire and Henry who met when Claire was 6 and Henry was 36. How creepy is that? What? They were married when Claire was 22 and Henry was 30. Impossible, but true, because Henry suffers from a rare condition where his genetic clock periodically resets and he finds himself suddenly pulled into his past or future. In the face of this force, they can neither prevent nor control. Henry and Claire's struggle to find normal life leads a normal life is both intensely moving and entirely unforgettable. No, not that is again a recipe for disaster. I did not want that. Don't want that. No.
Kay says The Time
I
Traveler's
don't.
Wife is bad.
Yeah, it sounds bad.
I have D&D tomorrow morning. I'm going to leave soon too. Well, that sounds like fun.
I'm getting colder and colder.
Tomorrow I'm going to build a bed.
Do 10 more steps on the bed.
Build a bed, do some DoorDash, and go swimming because my neighbor wants to go swimming in my pool.
Oh, go swimming. We definitely cannot do that. It's too cold.
Yeah, you're right. Our pool water is like bathtub water. It's great because it's 90 something degrees here.
I'm cold right now. It's got to be 50 something degrees. It's cold.
Which of these Lynn Painter YA romances would you want to buy, read, or unhaul? Better Than the Movies, The Do-Over, or Betting on You?
Oh, I may have read Betting on You. Hold on.
I've already read Better Than the Movies, and I really, really liked it.
Oh, no, I have not read Betting on You. I don't read YA unless I'm forced to. I don't read it. Get off.
Is Better Than the Movies YA? I can't remember.
I love the covers of all of these. They're cute. Yeah, it says romance YA contemporary.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rom-com about rom-coms. Did you like it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I couldn't remember if it was YA or not because I just remember the rom-com part of it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, so like she recreated rom-com movie situations?
Yeah. There was a lot of that in there, and it was like, she like the main character. She's like all about rom-com movies, and her mom had this thing with rom-com movies, and she wants to have like a romance like that, and yeah, it was cute because nothing quite went that way. I think I own The Do-Over, and I don't know anything about Betting on You.
Yeah, Betting on You is apparently the first book in a series called Betting on You. So
Simsalin says, I have to go too, girls. It was a fun time.
Bye. I hope your baby feels better.
I hope so too. Get some good rest while you can. This was fun. I enjoyed it. And Amanda will definitely be back as a future co-host at some point in time, which we have actually already discussed. So yeah, you'll definitely be seeing her again. Was she not just such this way? Was she not just such a fantastic co-host? You were great. I loved your videos. I loved the little game aspect you put to it,
and then things kind of fell off. It worked really well for 2 weeks. I'm gonna prep better for next time so that everything is good to go and I don't have to do something last minute. So I'm gonna be like you and plan out the rest of the year about what happened.
Well, it's easier when you have things that repeat, like
which I should
periods.
do because that would be easier to keep up with. So I'm going to do a video every day in July, though, like a little short video about what I read and what my day was. And there we go.
So why?
I don't know. Like,
I didn't know if you were like doing that for a thing in July or
no,
like why July.
Also, like I watch Amy at A Star Reads. I know you know her, and she did that in June, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this so badly. I even want to be like her, so I ordered me one of these.
I saw when you were talking about I want to get her bookmark.
I do.
I actually just got rid of one of those that I had for
sent her
Xander.
a picture of it on Discord. I was like, look what I got in the mail. So anyway,
I got one of those for Xander years ago to use because I was like, you're going to have to read until this gets to this point. And just, because I was like 20-minute reading.
Right.
Well, they're all like,
I'm doing with myself because I'm trying to read more physical books and not all audio. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm hoping July is going to slow me down because I'm reading too many books. So,
well, yeah. I mean, if you're vlogging every day and then editing every day and uploading,
I'm giving myself a day in between. So, like, I'm filming on the 1st, but that video won't go up till the 3rd because I'm going to give myself the 2nd to edit, and then it goes up the 3rd. So, I'm not going to have to like stay up late that night trying to edit that video.
But are you going to be vlogging on the 2nd?
Yes.
And so you're going to be vlogging and editing on the 2nd.
Right.
And then on the 3rd, you're going to be on the vlogging, editing, and posting on the 3rd. And then it's going to be vlogging, editing, posting.
Yes, every day. But that's okay. The editing happens real fast for me. It's not.
Yeah, I hate editing so much. It's my least favorite part of all of YouTube is editing. I've gotten faster over the years, but I still hate it. I wish somebody else would just do it for me.
Well, that's my job.
Yeah, but see, then I'd have to pay you.
I was going to say, that's when it becomes the problem because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, what if I paid somebody to edit my videos? And then I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, anyway,
I've had people reach out to me and like, offer to do that at like for whatever. And I'm like, and even if it's just like, I've had somebody say, oh, I could do it for like $30. And I'm like, I don't make $30 on this video.
Yeah, that's the same.
I'm lucky to make $5 on a video.
I know. One of my kids wanted to learn to edit, and I was like, "Well, if you want to edit my videos, I'll pay you what my video makes. Like, if you edit it, I'll pay you the 15 cents that video makes."
I was like, if I pay $5 for a video to be edited, I've paid more than I've made.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, all of my clients make money outside of YouTube. Like that's not their predominant income stream. So they're able to pay for videos. But okay, I'm going to answer this question and then I've got to go. But I have read all of these because I love Allie Hazelwood.
I have not read Not in Love, which is the newest one.
Oh, that's true. I've not read I read the first chapter at the library the other night and I wanted to take it home because it was so good, but instead I put it back on the shelf. I was like,
I got it as a book of the month. But I own all of them.
Okay.
And I've read The Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, Love Theoretically, but I have not read Not in Love, Bride, or Checkmate yet.
Okay, Check and Mate was adorable, even though it was YA, because it was all about chess and some kids playing chess, and I loved it so much. The Love Hypothesis has fake dating, and I'm here. Yes, for any fake dating, anytime I will read it. Love Theoretically, I liked also. Love on the Brain was all the shorts, right?
No.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't. Then maybe I have.
No. Well, let me see. Hold on.
I know I've read it though. Oh, it's B.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My problem with Love on the Brain was I was so angry at the things that were happening to B that I couldn't really get into feeling them because I was just angry about what was happening with her at NASA. So
Mm-hmm.
that was not fun.
Yeah, Love on the Brain was actually one. Let's see. Love Theoretically. No, I can't remember. I want to say it was the Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. I think those were our Season-a-thon ones. I know Love on the Brain was, but I can't remember which one was our first one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I just know Love Hypothesis is her first one, or at least the first one that went really big.
Yeah, I had Allie on twice for Season-a-thon. And I know the second time we had her was Love on the Brain. I'm gonna look really quick because my brain needs.
When I saw that she was one of your authors, I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like I was.
We got her 2 seasons in a row. Love Theoretically was the first one, and then Love on the Brain,
and then Love on the Brain. Yeah.
And she was actually one that we had to reschedule for because she had something come up. I can't remember. She had something come up last minute and had to move it to the next day. So we had back-to-back live shows for her. And then she came that second day and we had a great time. And then she came that was for Camp Season-a-thon. And then she came for the Spring into Reading-a-thon.
Yeah. Well, I like him. I've read everything except Not in Love, and I will be reading that. I think in July it's on my list, so we'll see.
Did you like Bride?
I did like Bride. Yes, I really liked Bride.
I'm very, very curious about Bride because it's very different from.
It is, but it's not. Like it is, but it's not. It's definitely fantasy, but it is not. Yeah. It's still the same good writing. If you like the writing, it's still that good.
Well, it's not. I know it's not like everything else is kind of STEM related, and that's not.
You're right. It's not. It's definitely not that. But I think that's the most different thing. Like the rest of it is still. I mean, it's got a cool slant on the vampire situation too. So I like the way she did it. I just liked it.
Good night, Terrell. Thank you for coming and asking your fabulous questions.
That's all right. Good night.
T says, I liked Bride, just the details that was turning me off a little.
Oh, like too many details? Maybe. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Well, I think this is a good time to call it a wrap. Not for the Season-a-thon. We still have the rest of today and all day tomorrow to get in any last reading, last books, get it all submitted. If you're not already following us on the Discord, make sure you join us over there. And I will post on there the final tally. Like I'll post it on the first, what the final tally for everything is and how we all did. And I'm very proud of our little group. They all did fantastic. And Amanda was a fantastic co-host. And we'll definitely be back. Drew was also a great co-host, even though he's disappeared.
Right.
We love Drew, but, family, you got to go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for co-hosting with me.
Yes. Thank you for asking me. It was a lot of fun. And
I look forward to having you back.
Yeah, to the next one as well.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a big thumbs up. If you're not already following Amanda and Drew, they are linked down in the description below. Can we submit books that we couldn't finish? Sure, but only submit the pages that you actually read. If you didn't finish the whole book, just the first however many pages you read, you can submit those. It's not super strict. But anyway, guys, big thumbs up. subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, remember to be completely you. Bye.
Bye.